Hi, I'm Andrew Rich, and if you're like me, you look at the state of modern wrestling discourse and think, wow, what a cesspool. That's why I'm here to tell you about Music of the Mat Remix. That's right, your favorite wrestling music podcast is back with a new format, where I bring on a guest and we play songs related to wrestling-themed topics. It could be a wrestling reference, a wrestling concept, a wrestling pun, things of that nature. Now you might be saying, Andrew, that is a very, very tenuous connection to pro wrestling on a wrestling podcast network. Is this just an excuse to hang out with your friends and talk about music and ignore the rest of the wrestling landscape? Yes. Yes, it is. So listen to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
Star-making performance.
She's not wrong.
The show's doing .11s. Nobody watches the show. Less people watch the show now than we're watching it before her star-making performance.
And Rich Frage.
If you're indifferent on apples, that's what a great fruit that you're just letting go by the wayside.
What is your fascination with apples?
They're fantastic. It's the fall. It's the apple season, man. And we are live on the Flagship. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, what's happening? Long time since we've been on the air here on the Flagship. Feels like it's been 48 hours.
Yeah, well, some people might not know what the hell you're talking about because we do have thousands of listeners tonight who probably need to be caught up on this. But this is, in fact, Flagship number 2 this week. This is the second Flagship podcast that we've done this week. And a lot of the listeners are probably saying, what? Where was this other Flagship? I didn't see another Flagship. When was that? Well, that was on Tuesday. So if you're listening to the show on Friday, like you normally do, or sometime over the weekend, there was, in fact, 2 Flagships this week. There was a Tuesday Flagship, and those will be done regularly moving forward. We don't want to say weekly. Might not be every single week, but they will be done regularly, I think is the terminology that I would agree with on that. So, depending what's going on, if it's a slow news week or something and it doesn't necessitate a second show, we probably will skip it or however schedules allow. But point being, there was a Flagship on Tuesday. The only way you can listen to that is if you subscribe to the $10 tier on patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. What's the other link?
FlagshipPatreon.com. That's the other good one.
FlagshipPatreon.com, the other link, or just search it. You'll find it. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, or you're on the $5 tier, these second Flagships each week, or I guess the first Flagship each week, because this will always be the second one, I guess, would be subscriber only on the $10 tier. It's the only way to hear it. You can listen to it live. Whether it's on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Monday, you can listen to it live and you can listen to it on demand. Either way, you need to be on that $10 tier. This week's Flagship number 1, I guess, the first Flagship this week, we reviewed the Royal Rumble, so we won't be doing that on this show. We also took a look at some of the Road to New Beginning Korakuen shows from last week. We did some contract season stuff. And if you're thinking that all you missed was a Flagship Plus or a Royal Rumble instant reaction, that's not the case. It was a full-on, real, regular Flagship. In fact, we fucked around and wasted 45 minutes at the start like we always do, talking about non-wrestling stuff. So it was the true, authentic Flagship experience. Why? Because it was a real Flagship. And those will be regularly done moving forward, not necessarily weekly, probably a couple a month at minimum. And to hear those, they will exclusively be housed at the Patreon on the $10 tier. So it's like we've been hinting at and talking about for a number of weeks now, going back to before the turn of the year, really dialing up the content. I think in January we had more content than we ever had behind that paywall. And now with the rollout of 2 flagships a week, again, you're going to get a ton of value, whether you're on that 5 or 10, but you really should be on the 10 because that gets you everything. And so if you want to hear our Rumble review, you want to hear us break down a little bit of New Japan Corkins and whatnot, you're going to have to.
Young Lion Cup. We had a long discussion about the Young Lion Cup final, which you and I both loved.
We did. And we got a couple shorts up on the YouTube, little teasers of those conversations. People might be confused. They might, people who listen to the show every week might see our YouTube and be like, when did they talk about this stuff?
Right.
Well, that's what you missed. It was on Tuesday on the paywalled edition of the Flagship. And there's going to be more of those coming. So we continue to grow. We thank everybody for allowing us to grow. And we're just going to keep pumping out more content and up in the ante around here and just trying to work super hard and give people more value than they're getting anywhere else.
Absolutely. So, it's really what I'm priding myself on right now is the value that we offer compared to a lot of other places out there, which I do think, we are pretty damn good for the value that you get for your $5 or $10. And also, and then we'll kind of get into the show itself, word of mouth. If you like the show and you have friends, you have colleagues, you have people that you're in a group chat with, you talk on Discord with or whatever, let them know about the show because that is really how we grow and how we have grown is by doing good content and working our asses off, but also by word of mouth, by people telling friends, people telling family members, people telling colleagues, whatever, about us because we're not obviously not on social. We're not in discussions on social media anymore. We do some stuff on YouTube, but not a ton of stuff on YouTube. And pretty much we just do our thing. And we keep growing. So it's working. Whatever we're doing is working. But I would definitely like to continue to grow. And the best way we can do that right now is from word of mouth. So if you like what we're doing, please let others know, share with others, and we'll continue to grow this. And like you said, you allow us to grow. And as more and more people subscribe, we can do more and more things as well. It works perfectly in that way where, as we grow, we are able to give you more. And it's a pretty cool relationship to be in right now. Yeah.
So finally, we get the commercial done when people are actually listening instead of when I think of it in the middle of hour 3 at the back end of the show right. When 60% of the people have stopped listening.
After our dumbest subjects that we've covered, we're covering the worst subjects. We're both tired and it's 1 a.m. and we're like, oh yeah, Patreon, a lot of stuff on there. You should go. Yeah, subscribe.
Mouth moving slower than the brain and
right.
that third hour malaise. We used to do like 5-6 hour shows. Remember that shit?
I do. Yeah.
Like we'd bust out it just go like 5-6 hours. Like what the fuck is just between the sheets? What the fuck are we doing? And then it's just, I couldn't even imagine it. I don't know. I'd say by the middle, like we get into that hour 3, get into that 3 hour 5 minute mark, my mouth starts moving slower than my brain. And it's like, I could feel, I'm like, I feel like I'm talking underwater. It's just nothing. I feel like nothing's making sense. I'm like, we got to end this fucking thing. So yeah, this was an important week though to get the commercial for the Patreon out of the way because it was a big week. It was a big week for us, and we did see a spike in subscribers. So there's people that don't want to miss a flagship, and that's a good thing, and we're grateful for that. So as long as people keep supporting us, we'll keep doing more of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, plenty of other stuff on there too. So it's not just the new flagships. Plenty of other content for you.
Oh no!
At flagship.
Like I said, I don't think any month had more than January had ever.
No, and February is going to probably chart pretty close to that as well. I did the Larry versus Bruno series that came out in late January. I got something ready to go for early February as well, kind of an audio documentary. I reviewed an Indian wrestling company, a brand new Indian wrestling company with some very interesting circumstances of when this show was taped and what's going on and who they book or whatever. And that's going to be out by the time this show is done for the live listeners. That'll be available on the $5 tier pretty close. It's not a long, it's like 35-40 minutes or whatever, but I reviewed episode 6 of WXM Indian promotion with some big money behind it. I think, I don't know, it's a very strange thing, but it's a fun TV show. It's very WWE in some ways, but it's also the best way to describe it. And there are people that have, if anybody has watched this WXM, they know it is half like a very WWE-ified like television show because there's like backstage skits and just different things like that. The announcers say tag when people tag in and out or whatever because they think they have to do that. but then the crowd is like a 1970s wrestling crowd because they don't know any better. It's Indian, most Indian fans are really not watching all that much wrestling, and the crowd is just filled with like children and mothers or whatever. So it's just all the heels are the worst, all the baby faces are the best. It's really fun in that way, and the wrestling's pretty basic or whatever. No, it's fun. It was a fun little show to review. I just watched it on a whim and was like, I have to talk about this. This is really cool. So that review will be up pretty soon.
You're telling me children and territory-style grandmas that are going to the show are not locked into the 01 Base Neo app?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, they weren't very smarky. They weren't like, I don't know, the work rate here isn't very good. Like they didn't seem to care. They were like, that man is Indian, and he is facing a man who is not Indian, so I am cheering for the Indian man. Like that's essentially what it was. Like Axel Tischer, the former Alexander Wolf.
Axel Tischer.
Yeah, he came out and cut a promo, and he's like, India, you guys have nothing to offer me in the wrestling world. And it was like, boo. And I'm from Germany, and Germany's better than India. And it was like, boo. And then the Indian guy came out, and hey, he's over. Classic, just classic pro wrestling. Boo he's not a Nazi anymore. He's just a German. But in any other era, he would have been a Nazi. So it's a tale as old as time. It just always will work. Except in America, it just does not work in America. But the boo your country, yay my country, and then the crowd just goes boo, and only cheers for the person from their country. It works. It'll always work forever.
Yeah. So, are you still there?
I am here.
I thought I lost you.
No,
the one thing with the double flagship weeks that we kind of have to figure out as we go along is splitting up the topics and making sure you have enough to talk about on both shows. And I think we learned a valuable lesson in week one of this experiment, that we blew our entire load on the first flagship. So we are extremely light on topics.
I think we have topics. Show. Yeah, here's the thing. MLW fucked us. This would have been the perfect week for MLW. If they aired that thing last Thursday, when they should have, if it aired live last Thursday, we would have watched it and we would have started this show off. They would have gotten the best publicity they could have ever gotten. We would have started this show with MLW Battle Riot. But no, it's airing right now.
It's airing right this second, which means now we can't talk about it because we haven't seen it for starters, and I'm not going to preview a show that's happening live as we're going along.
It's ridiculous.
That doesn't make any sense. So most people will have seen the show by the time they get around to this podcast sometime this weekend. So yeah, that was very poor planning by Court Bauer, with the only podcast really in the world that pays any attention to MLW.
You should talk to us about this.
So I would suspect that 10% of their viewers are coming from our universe. I mean, I don't even think I'm being facetious.
No.
So it's crazy. So, it's tonight. And then, by the time we get around to doing a show next week, it's
there's so many other shows.
Yeah,
there's other shows we have to talk about. We got New Beginning in Osaka, and that's next Wednesday, which we're going to preview a little bit later. I mean, that's next Wednesday. So that's already, Thursday is going to be packed already. Tuesday, I think, is going to be packed because there's a couple indie things I want to watch this weekend as well. So I don't know. And especially, I talked about this last week when we were discussing the fact that Battle Riot was happening and it was the weird schedule. It's going to be really, really hard for me to go, okay, Rich, sit down and watch a 40-man battle royal, particularly when I know who won. I unfortunately got spoiled on that. And I really don't want to watch that person win a 40-man battle royal. So that's going to be tough. Battle Riot might. We'll cover.
I don't know who won.
Well, good. You can be pleasantly surprised then on the winner of the MLW Battle Riot.
Due to the strange timing of all of this, it might get pushed to a plus. The Battle Riot might get pushed to a plus. Yeah. I don't know.
That's Court's own doing.
Listen, I'll give you a great example. New Beginning in Osaka, or The New Beginning in Osaka, which is the full name of the show. That is on the 11th, correct? Wednesday, the 11th. Mm-hmm. Well, this is a great example because we're going to preview that show today, and then we're going to review that show on Thursday, next Thursday, right? So it's like the timing is perfect. This show here, which already happened, and they normally air them live on YouTube, and maybe and then they delayed it like a full week. It's just bizarre. So it's just going to totally get lost in the shuffle. So I think a pattern that we can fall into is I feel like the early week paywalled flagship will contain a lot of reviews of what happened on that previous weekend, right?
Correct.
So it'll be early in the week. And then the Thursday flagship will be more larger picture topics and previews of what's coming on the upcoming weekend. I think most weeks it'll work out nicely where we'll have stuff to review on the early flagship. We'll have stuff to preview on the later in the week flagship, and then rinse and repeat, right? So this MLW show falling at the weirdest time just totally throws that for a loop. So I don't know. Maybe if we do one the flagship next week, we can review it on a Tuesday or something. Or it's going to get pushed to a plus. I don't know, but we'll have to cover it in some form, in some way.
Don't worry, Renegades. We'll cover it in some way. Do not worry.
Don't worry, Renegades. So in other words, don't worry, Aaron Quinn. We'll cover it in some way. We'll get to that, to the renegade out there.
Yeah. There's dozens of them that listen to the show that are all the renegades. So one quick thing, and then we'll get to some of the other topics. Another reason why I want to do the India show is I want to tap into the Indian market. You know how every sport, every company talks about tapping into the Indian market? That's what I think we should do. I think it's a great idea because I looked.
Oh, God.
And
that's worked so well for everybody else.
Well, yeah, but they didn't do it right. We're going to do it right by reviewing their weekly wrestling television, because I looked it up. There are 1.47 billion people that live in India. And the number was going up. It was like a live number, and it went up like magnitudes as I was doing the bit.
People
talking
were being
about that.
born as you were.
Yes, I was like, and then 1, 4, 8, 9, 10. Oh, God. It just like kept going and going.
Nobody was dying.
Nobody was dying. Everybody was just being born. So I made it that if we get even 0.5% of that 1.47 billion, we'll be roughly 7 million new subscribers to Flagship Patreon. I said, even if they're only on the $5 tier, I'd like them on the 10, of course, but even if they're on the $5.
So 0.5% would equal 7,000 new listeners.
7 million new listeners.
7 million.
Yeah.
0.5% would be 7 million new listeners.
And you could see, and you just do that math right there, and you could see why every company ever is like,
right,
we have to try, right? Like we have to try to get into India, because even if it's 0.005, like that's still pretty good. Like I think we should try to get that. So, I'm going for 0.5% of the entire Indian population, which might be ambitious, but hey, you know what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I hope they chime in, and because I think we're good. Then we always say that we have a number. We like in my mind, I had a number for when I would quit my job or anything like that. And I think that number, if we get 7 million new subscribers based off this review, I think that's the number right there. I think that's it.
Well,
but that might be the number where you just stop doing everything and just leave, right? Like that first check comes in and you're out. Or is the spite too important? Think about that.
Let me do the math on that.
Yeah.
7 million times, let's say, an average of $8 a month.
Yeah, right.
So if we made $56 million next month, hold on,
I know you have a lot of spite. I know you like spite, but
I got to divide by 2. That's 28 million times 40% in tax. So that'd be 28. That'd be about 28 million minus about 11,500,000. So that would leave me with about $16,500,000 for 1 month. No, I think I'd show up for month number 2.
Yeah, I think I'd show up a couple more months. But when it was initially what was the initial like 56 million? I might take that and run, but with taxes and splitting it, and so if we're down to what was it, 16 mil? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Maybe about 16 to 17 million dollars.
Yeah, I'd like to do a couple months of that
after taxes.
Yeah.
That's it's not bad.
The problem, not a bad day at work, but
the problem is my spite works in many different ways. I would not want to pay $11.5 million in income tax to the federal government for more than 1 month. See where I'm coming at there? So I might just bounce after that first month, and nobody would ever hear from me ever again.
Just go off the grid, so they'd have to chase you for that 11 mil.
I mean, if by off the grid you mean on my couch up in the den, yeah.
You would be too hard to find. You wouldn't go anywhere else. You would stay exactly where you're at. Just spend more time in the den.
I mean, I'd probably buy another house. I'd pay this one off and buy another house. Sure.
Where are you going though? Where are you going though?
Well, I don't know. Where the fuck am I going?
I don't know. I mean, like what state? Like where are you staying in Texas? Are you going back to
somewhere
New Jersey?
I would not go back to New Jersey. I've decided that. I've made that decision. I'm never going back to New Jersey to live. I would go somewhere without winter. That's number one. I do not want to deal with winter or snow ever again.
And would you would consider
So,
Texas that, right? Because
Texas would be on the table. I don't mind Texas. Texas is fine. Texas is great. I have no qualm. I have no issues living in Texas as someone who's not even from here. So yeah, maybe if that's what Brittany wanted to do and stay close to her family, sure. Yeah,
I guess you got pretty good. You got pretty good weather there for the most part.
Yeah, I got no complaints here. Everything's fine.
Good internet.
To
watch your Reds games.
Yeah, no winter. You know the Antifa running around with bike locks and socks hitting people in the head. None of that shit. There's nothing going on down here politically. Nothing. It's fine. Everything's good. So that's fine. I'm not married to it. I'll
decent
go wherever.
Food. But you got decent food there too. So
food's decent. Yeah,
that's important. I think that's pretty important. I go some places and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like a lot of places have good food, but I coming from Chicago and we can eat anything anytime we want pretty much. And it's all pretty good. It's tough. You go other places and you're like, I'd probably get sick of this food pretty quickly. But Texas seems like you guys got.
I got, no problem. No problem. Cheap property tax, at least where I live. I know in other parts of Texas it's not so cheap without the state income tax. What kind of conversation is this?
This is
breaking down state income taxes.
We talked about this last week. I don't know. We're big on taxes right now. We gotta have IRS show up on the show. We're not
because we're halfway through that TurboTax robbery that we go through every year, and then it's top of mind. So that's why it's coming up.
I do have a rolling. Speaking of Erwin R. Shyster, remember when he was going to die like a month or two ago? I made a whole I have a Google Doc all about Mike Rotunda, but he survived, so I'm glad he didn't die. But it was one of those things where I was like, shit, should I get ready for this? I should probably get ready for this. So I got kind of ready. Abdul the Butcher too. He was another guy that I think was. There was reports.
Like pre-writing.
I don't want to see. I hate doing that. Yeah, I just there was one of these days, it was like a Thursday morning, and they're like, Mike Rotunda's not doing well. And I was like, shit, should we probably get this ready or whatever? It seems like it's going to happen at any point. And then it didn't happen. And then Abdul, the same deal. Like, if I don't want to do that, but it was one of these things where I was like, we're not going to have enough time to really put everything together. So I probably should do some research on this just in case. And
I think, Rotunda's pretty easy.
I don't have a whole lot of takes on Mike Rotunda.
I think...
Are we going to do his obit right now? Let's do it. Yeah, fine. Let's go.
If he died, we don't have much else. If he died during the show, I think I can just do one on the spot that would be competent.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I figured out while I was doing it. I was just like, I know all this. I like to prepare. Yeah, but as I was putting down all my notes, I was like, I could just talk about this. This is like he didn't do anything that anybody doesn't know about. Like if you watched wrestling in America for the last 40 years, you pretty much got it all. I mean, there's not much else there, and it's not all great. They're kind of mediocre wrestlers, so you get the
sweaty man.
Very sweaty.
Very sweaty.
Yeah.
Very mediocre. But he was tall and good looking and had shoot credentials, so he always got pushed.
Yep. Oh, we actually, what? We did this show already because the day that he was supposed to maybe pass away, but he didn't. I talked about that the match where he shot on the guy, where he got really pissed at the dude.
Yeah.
And we watched the match live. So we already did it. I think
pretty much did it
because we're like, Captain Mike Rotunda. Yeah, that was fine. Just kind of like that. He was Michael Wall Street, and that was fine. And
was it fine?
No, not really. That he was IRS. You're choking him by his tie. He's just sweating.
Was that okay? Let me ask you this: was that a rib forcing the world's sweatiest wrestler to wrestle in business clothing?
It had to be. And it was. I'll never forget the match. It'd be 8 minutes into the match, and it was just soaked through. That shirt was just soaked. It had to be a rib.
Yeah,
it had to be a rib. And then WCW did the same thing. They're like, all right, pal. You're VK Wall Street. Get out there. Yeah, you got to wear a suit again. He's like, God damn it. I just wear a singlet. No, I got to put the suit. Had to be.
And Mr. Hughes.
Yeah. Oh, God. Mr. Hughes as well. Yeah.
Their slacks and their button ups. IRS with the suspenders, too.
Yeah.
I don't want to wrestle a guy wearing suspenders. What if that gets caught in my nipple or something?
Yeah, it's true.
Like if he's giving me a belly to belly. But he's going to do belly to bellies to people. He's going to put you in that chin lock.
High work rate.
He's going to put you in that reverse chin lock and grind it in. You got to be in his sweaty armpit for half the match. Man was so sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not dead.
Not dead.
So we don't.
Not dead.
I'll tell you. You know what? I'll tell you what.
Who's also not dead?
I'll tell you who else isn't dead. Billy Gunn.
Oh,
Billy
dear God.
Gunn is alive and well. What do you mean, oh, dear God? He's alive.
Yes, Billy Gunn is alive.
Yes. He's an active, working professional wrestler at the age of 61. Probably one of the better pro wrestlers ever over the age of 61, right? That's a question I haven't pondered.
Interesting. Okay.
Because we're going to bury him under the earth in about 5 minutes. So I figure we can lead it off at least with some praise. Is he the best 60-plus-year-old pro wrestler maybe ever?
Oh, there's got to be. No, there's got to be somebody. Yeah, I was going to say, we got to go to Mexico, right?
There's probably a bunch of luchadors who I would say. But he's still like competent, and he's like 61 or 62 years old, right?
Yeah, I'm going. Okay, let's see. Oldest wrestlers to ever perform 70 years or older. Right, let's go. Let's go. Oldest wrestler still wrestling. Okay. Here's the oldest wrestler still wrestling. Bushwhacker Luke is 79. Billy Gunn's probably better than 79-year-old Bushwhacker Luke, I would assume. Yoshiki Fujiwara, which
he's better than Fujiwara.
Yeah, he's definitely better than Fujiwara. Satanico is still, I guess.
Yeah, I saw Satanico. The last time I saw him wrestle was about 2 years ago, and he was still competent, but I don't know if Satanico at this stage is better than. I don't know. I can't commit to that one.
76-year-old Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson's still pretty good.
That one might be close.
Mike Jackson's he's almost as good as he was 40 years ago, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I haven't seen him though again in probably 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably been a couple years.
So, yeah. But the question is not, is he the best 60-year-old wrestler today? Like, was Mike Jackson at any point over the age of 60 better than Billy Gunn is now? Yeah, probably. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's probably safe to say, although I can't definitively say it.
So Tatsumi Fujinami is 72 right now. So if any time in the last 10 years was Fujinami better than Billy Gunn is right now?
I don't know. Here's my point. I do think that for a 61, 62-year-old man, he's pretty good. That's pretty old.
He's in good shape, I'll tell you that.
Well, yeah, listen, that's a lot of vegetables and
egg whites.
Eating right. Absolutely.
Broccoli. Little bit of creatine, just a scoop or two of creatine every so often, not all the time. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. What kind of chemicals do you need to be doing to get fired from a non-wrestling job in WWE? Right, to get a drug, to get pinched in Triple H's WWE,
where you are not an on-screen performer. He wasn't an on-screen performer at the time, right?
He was not.
I mean, that's crazy. But
so we got some people in the chat room. I did the thing where I look up Sting and it comes up with the musician Sting and not Steve Borden, and I always get mad. It happens every single time. Steve Borden's 66, so he was definitely better in the last 5 years than Billy Gunn was.
He had better matches for sure.
Yeah. Some people asked about Yuji Nagata. He's only 57, so he's not quite there yet.
No.
Not quite there. But, Blue Panther, he is...
Mexico is your answer.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of dudes in Mexico. Yeah, Blue Panther's 65, and he just had a match. What, was that 2 weeks ago with Ultimo Guerrero? That was, like, better than any Billy Gunn match ever. Yeah. So...
There'd be a lot of guys in Mexico who cleared 61-year-old Billy Gunn when they were 61. That would be your answer.
Yeah, America's going to be a little tougher.
America's going to be rough. That's going to be rough to find 60-year-olds. You know, Japan too. To be fair, Mexico is where you need to go. So, anyway, we never really addressed this, and I think that we should. I mean, this blew up. Because Dave Meltzer, it blew up because Paul White gets back on the commentary.
This is the dumbest. This is the dumbest timeline. Okay, go. Yeah, here's what it is.
Where, to be fair, he did some decent commentary, but he made a really dumb comment, and he and I'm paraphrasing in that during this Billy Gunn match with Kyle Fletcher, there's some kind of tag match, and something like, can Kyle Fletcher match up to Billy Gunn? Something to that regards. They're trying to claim that, Billy Gunn was the better wrestler than Kyle Fletcher in kayfabe and all of this, which is even more preposterous when you think about it. which prompted Dave Meltzer on his radio show to just basically go ballistic on this and be like, look, Kyle Fletcher is one of the 5 best wrestlers in the world today, which, I mean, I agree with that. We
Absolutely.
just did the FSM 50 and he came in second, and he would have came in first if the coin that I flipped, came out the other way. He's a phenomenal pro wrestler, much better pro wrestler than Billy Gunn ever was. But he went on to say that Billy Gunn was never even top 200 in the world. And somehow people found that controversial. When Dave even went out of his way to say, this is just about bell to bell. This is about between the bells work. Billy Gunn was obviously a big star during a time when wrestling was very popular, but just talking about who the better wrestler is, Kyle Fletcher's top 5 in the world, and Billy Gunn was never top 200 in the world. Now, to me, that came off as just 2 very obvious statements. I don't even find either one of those particularly controversial at all. But of course, this causes a firestorm. And there's 2 reasons, Rich Craich, why that caused a firestorm. The number one reason is the obvious one. Anything Dave Meltzer says is going to be faded by some of the dumbest people in the world and the whole grifter class of pundits and podcasters. People like Eric Bischoff, who would have nothing to talk about if he wasn't talking about Dave Meltzer or AEW. So these 2 groups of people were the primary drivers of this, because if Dave says something, they have to compulsively disagree to either feed their Twitter followings or their podcast listeners or whatever, their radio show listeners who don't like Dave and like hearing anti-Dave rhetoric. So that's reason number one that that's turned into some controversial topic. Reason number 2, though, is an interesting one too. I think there's just Attitude Era nostalgia glasses that a lot of people wear, many of whom weren't even alive or fans during the Attitude Era, but it's such a glorified period in pro wrestling.
I was going to say WWE still, even if you weren't around, if you watch WWE today and you just started watching WWE 10 years ago, it is considered still by that company the glory years. That's our best era. And they promote it like crazy. And every 5 years, the video game is doing an Attitude Era mode or whatever. They're doing it again this year. I mean, they continue to prop up that era. Glorified is putting it lightly. I mean, that era is still just completely considered transcendent in ways that no other era ever is in that company, which is very bizarre. But I get it. And the guy that runs it is, he was considered a part of it. he considers himself a much larger part of it. But we'll get to it. Yeah, we'll
get to that. So I think those are the 2 primary reasons. Number one, if Dave says something, there's an entire cottage industry of people, from the blue checkmark dorks on Twitter making Elon pennies right on up to the grifter class of podcasters who anything Dave says becomes content for them and a way to attempt to make money. Number 2 is the nostalgia glasses for the Attitude Era. And I think the third reason is there's just a lot of wrestling fans who, for lack of a better term, do not know ball and do not approach these kinds of conversations in the way that we would, or Dave would, or people who know ball, or people who are into good wrestling would. And that's such a weird thing to say, but it's almost like if you like good wrestling, if you like what has been termed as quote unquote work rate style wrestling, or matches with or good matches, or care about things like match of the year, that's almost seen as a negative to a lot of these, new wave fans, which is such a strange thing. Why would you not want the matches you're watching to be good? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I think what it is, and why we can never see eye to eye with these kinds of fans, is you mentioned this when we talked about match of the year behind the paywall, when we broke down the top 10 matches. A lot of these fans just don't view wrestling through the same lens as us. And I don't think a lot of these people know the difference between good wrestling and bad wrestling. I really think that's what it comes down to, because you see this all the time. Dave Meltzer or the backup Hangman Ibu or somebody like me and you will say something obvious like, Trick Williams is not a very good pro wrestler. He's a below average pro wrestler with outstanding charisma who has a chance to be a star, but his wrestling just isn't very good. And people will attack with fangs if Dave or Ibu say that. I've seen both of them get attacked for that opinion, which again is an obvious opinion. if you know what you're watching, Trick Williams is a below average pro wrestler. It's not even debatable. He has so many flaws. He's just not very good. But I don't think a lot of these fans know the difference. They don't know ball, and they don't know a good match from a bad match. They don't know a great match from a poor match. They don't know great execution from poor execution. They can't see that Trick Williams has a lot of deficiencies in his work because they don't view wrestling through that lens. So I think that's the third part of this whole Billy Gunn thing that is kind of being lost. And I know that you weren't excited to do this segment. We've kind of pushed it off a couple weeks, and I figured today was a good day because we didn't have a lot of other topics. But I didn't want to just approach it from let's just have fun burying Billy Gunn, which we're going to do. Don't get it twisted. We're going to get there.
We got that. Don't worry.
We're going to get there. But there's also a larger philosophical way of looking at this and what causes these disputes. Why are people so not just seeing eye to eye, but completely on different planets when it comes to a discussion like this? Because the fact of the matter is, and I've been around a long time, and Rich, you're no spring chicken yourself anymore either. You've been around the block a few times when it comes to this stuff. And I think it's safe for me to say, and I think you would agree, that at no point in his career was Billy Gunn ever considered one of the 200 best wrestlers in the world.
No, he was ridiculed during most of the time when I was coming in.
Yes, he was a laughing stock for most of his career. Okay. And I could tell you that at no point among ball knowers and people that know what the fuck they're talking about was he ever considered one of the top 200 wrestlers in the world. Okay. And I would go even further to say that I'm not sure if Billy Gunn was ever considered one of the 500 best wrestlers in the world.
Globally, probably not. No.
Globally, probably not. And, that was kind of Dave's point, too. He's like, wrestling is more than just the two companies that were running in 1997.
No.
Okay. Which, you know what? As a thought experiment, what I thought about doing was trying to come up with 200 WWF and WCW wrestlers that were better than Billy Gunn during that 5-year period, which I think you could almost get there. But
I think we could do it. I think we could do it pretty easily if we needed to.
WCW alone,
yes.
If you're expanding it to like
their whole roster. If you consider anybody that's under WCW contract at that time, especially from like 96, 97, 98, that period, oh my God, yeah.
So forget globally. Like, I think you could do it and if you throw in ECW, forget it. Like, if you just do those 3 companies and throw in like Smoky Mountain and really get crazy, I think you can get there. But my point here is, like, we're laughing, and a lot of our listeners are laughing because a lot of our older listeners, especially, are nodding along, going, "Yeah, Billy Gunn was never considered a great worker. He was never." Whenever I bust out those old Torch yearbooks where Wade would take the industry poll of the top 100 wrestlers in the world, Billy Gunn would never sniff those things. You look at
Joe, I didn't know that SmackDown Hotel, you can actually pick the dates and check a roster by the date of that roster. We could, and I'm scrolling right now through WCW. Billy's, that's tough.
It would be, I think you might be, I'm dead serious when I tell you, I think you might be able to get to 200 guys better than Billy Gunn just with WCW, WWF, and ECW during the Attitude Era.
I think very easily you could.
I think you can clear 200. And here's where I want to be clear. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Billy Gunn, but here's another thing that gets in the way of these discussions. Analysis and criticism of these guys is not disrespect. It's just the fucking truth, and it's what you do, and they're public performers, and they're well paid, and if they can't take it, tough shit. We really need to start getting past that too. We're getting to the point where we can't be critical, we can't analyze, we can't talk about performance. That's bullshit.
For Mr. Ass, we have to be careful that we don't offend, who, by the way, probably doesn't give a fuck. Any way, shape, or he might, but I doubt it.
He spoke about it. He went on Busted Open because, of course, he did.
God.
And the comments that I saw him say were just, hey, look, he didn't even claim that he didn't defend, push back on it. All he said was, hey, look, I had a good career. People liked working with me, which I'm sure is true. I'm sure he was excellent to work with. And I'm still in the business because I like working with my boys. He meant his kids. And I like working with young wrestlers. And I'm here. And I'm not getting all wrapped up in that. That was basically the gist of it. I think
he was a little more professional. Yeah, he was an adult about it.
And here's the thing, though. I wouldn't even be bothered if he pushed back and got mad because, look, we're allowed to criticize. And then they're allowed to criticize what we're being critical of. That's how it works. I'm on here. I'm in public stating these things. If someone wants to get mad at me for something I say about them, that's great. But I'll use the old Colin Cowherd thing. I don't have time to have an opinion on your opinion of my opinion. So it's not going to bother me. You know what I mean? So he has a right to push back if he wants. But my point is, never in those torch lists, never in the DVR 500. And they did 500 wrestlers a year, Rich. Never included in that. I don't believe he ever popped up in the GWE list, the greatest wrestler ever list. That's done every, 10 years they do it?
I think so.
And I think it's coming up this year, because the last one was 2016. Never has come up in that. I don't know if he's ever even gotten a vote. Here's something that I don't know who needs to hear this. Probably not a lot of our listeners, but if you clip this for YouTube, and I think you should, maybe there's some people who do need to hear this. Billy Gunn was never considered one of the best wrestlers in America, let alone one of the best wrestlers in the world. And the idea of that is completely preposterous to anyone who lived through his career. That's the best way I can put it while being respectful about it. It just isn't true. And there's been so much revisionism of this guy's career. Rich, were you aware that Billy Gunn had this enormous cadre of fans all of a sudden?
No, because again, like I said, when I was growing up, he was kind of laughed at. It was seen as a guy who, had a decent run with as one half of the Smoking Guns or whatever, but they weren't any great shakes or whatever. And then basically fluttered around for a bunch of years after the Smoking Guns, basically couldn't find anything to do, then gets linked up with the New Age Outlaws. And yeah, they're an exciting team and they do some fun stuff, but largely Billy Gunn's kind of a passenger on that thing. He's a part of DX, but he's the most inconsequential part of DX. And then every time they tried him as a singles wrestler, which, was one time in 1999, they gave him the King of the Ring, and it was an absolute fucking disaster.
Total flop.
And The Rock, it was so bad. Today. It was so bad that they didn't give him a title shot. He was one of the only King of the Ring guys that didn't get a title shot. He got a kiss my ass match with The Rock, who buried the ever living shit out of him constantly on commentary, and not like in character bearing. Like, this guy fucking sucks. I can't believe that's what I have to do at SummerSlam is face this motherfucker, and then beat his ass at SummerSlam. And then they said, all right, well, that was that push. You're done with that. Then he did nothing again until he got hurt, and then he came back again in 2001 or whatever as the one Billy Gunn. And guess what? That flopped and didn't work.
And that flopped as well.
And then he did the Billy and Chuck thing, which was just kind of fun, whatever the hell.
Comedy mid-card.
Yeah, whatever. And then that was it. And then that was essentially it.
He had two massive flops as a singles wrestler during one of the hottest periods in wrestling history. It's indisputable. He flopped massively. And Rich, I'm going to throw in a third one. He flopped as Rockabilly as well. Few years before, but they gave him a shot as a singles wrestler as Rockabilly and attempted to give that a big put, and it didn't work either. This is a guy who always flopped as a singles wrestler. And then they would have to go back. They did put him in DX. They'd put him in the what's the gay gimmick? The fake gay gimmick. Billy and Chuck. They'd always have to put him back in a tag team because he couldn't cut it as a singles wrestler. The Rock stuff was interesting because he flopped so hard that Rock would bury him publicly. He became Billy Gunn, for those who didn't live through it. Okay. And we're not over exaggerating or anything. He was a meme before that term existed. He was a living meme before memes were a thing. He really was. I can't think of what Rock used to call him in public. He used to call him something, but I can't remember the phrase that he used. Someone in the chat's going to come up with it before we're done with the segment.
Well, one person did bring up in the chat, Dan Steiner brought up that when Edge won his King of the Ring, or was on his quest to win the King of the Ring, he did a promo where he says, I'm not going to Billy Gunn my King of the Ring win. Because it became like a describer
when I say
for not delivering on, I don't want a Billy Gunn.
He was a living meme. Yeah. I mean, that's the best description. He was a meme before we had memes, is what he was. He was a joke. Okay? No one considered him a great wrestler. And in the aftermath of this Dave stuff, you had this wild revisionism of how great he allegedly was and what a massive star he was.
Well, the star thing was what really got me. Is there was people being like,
please address that too?
Because I forget who it was, but someone's like, look, if there's an opportunity to watch great wrestling or like wrestlers that connect with the audience and they're going to buy tickets, like people are going to buy tickets because wrestlers that connect with them. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Who are you talking about, though? Are you talking about Billy Gunn? Or because nobody bought a ticket to watch Billy Gunn.
No one bought a ticket.
Like the idea was that Kyle Fletcher is just like a wrestler that does cool wrestling moves, and nobody buys tickets to watch cool wrestling, which is not true, but fine, whatever.
Well, that's the current mindset today is that good matches don't matter. Or no one
right. But people want to buy tickets to watch stars and guys they connect with or whatever. And I'm thinking, all right, brother, yeah, I'm nodding along. Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. Are you describing Billy Gunn? Because that's not ever what nobody gave a fuck. Yeah. Nobody bought a ticket for Billy Gunn. I can assure you that not one human being ever said, oh God, Raw is coming to my town and Billy Gunn's going to be there. I have to go. I have to. During the Smoking Guns, they didn't do that. During Rockabilly, they didn't do that. During New Age Outlaws, they didn't do that. During the one Billy Gunn, during Mr. Ass, during Billy and Chuck, there was never 1 second, never in TNA, an underrated, disastrous TNA run too.
Oh my God, his TNA run, that's
Cute
some of the worst shit you'll ever see.
So bad. Oh God, it's awful.
The thing about Billy Gunn is he's had some of the worst major league runs you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're retconning this guy as some kind of phenomenal wrestler who was a huge star
that people cared about, that people bought tickets to.
That people cared about, which they didn't. Did you know the Cody tweet about when he clapped back at Disco Inferno?
Oh, an all-timer
tweet where he basically says, "Stop. You were over with the boys in a hot era." And
I'm going to read it. Hold on, I got to read it. It's an all-time tweet, so let me find it. Okay,
but I want to I want to build off that after you read it because go ahead.
Okay, so here it is. I found it. It's so good. Great, all-time great Cody tweet. Okay. It's from April 2nd, 2018.
Right. It doesn't matter what Disco said. We all know it was just something stupid.
He's something fucking stupid from Disco Inferno, probably putting himself over, even though he doesn't. Okay. Quote, "Stop. You know nothing. You have drawn $0. No fan has ever left a show thinking about you. You were lucky to be a juiced up, double lifer, over with the boys type in an era where you hid in plain sight, coasting on others' success. Couldn't hang then, can't get booked now."
The strongest own in the history of Twitter.
God.
So,
do you want to know? Actually, here's what he was quote tweeting. Here's what Glenn Gilberti was. He said, "Nobody knows how to quote unquote work anymore. They would rather kill each other to get Dave Meltzer to put their match over." Which, by the way, we've been doing this for years now. That is a problem that needs to be put front and center. Guys are going to keep getting hurt.
Yeah. So again, part of the just cottage industry of people who wouldn't have any kind of presence, career, whatever you want to call it. They should be sending Dave Meltzer residuals. Yeah. All of these people. But anyway,
which by the way, Cody, it's because Cody got a cut.
Yeah.
He got Kenny Omega kicked him and he got a cut above his eye. And that was what Glenn decided was what people are doing to pop Dave Meltzer. But okay, carry on.
The reason I wanted to evoke that Cody tweet is because Billy Gunn's not that much different than Disco Inferno. If you remove Billy Gunn from history, nothing changes. Nothing changes. The Attitude Era is just as successful as it was if he's not part of it.
A different person could have said, "Suck it," you know what I mean? Because that's essentially
a different person could have been the less charismatic half of an over catchphrase.
Right. Another person could have let Road Dogg talk for a minute and then go,
with all the charisma.
We got 2 words for you. Suck it. It was not that hard. You had to find someone that could do that.
You could have found someone else to be the other half, the less charismatic half of the tag team. Because Road Dogg was all of the charisma in that team.
And most of the work, too.
And if you lived through this, you know this. I feel like it's a lot of people who didn't live through it. Okay, Road Dogg was entirely the charisma. So anyone could have been the less charismatic half of that catchphrase. If you remove him, if Billy Gunn retires at the end of the Smoking Guns, whenever that tag team fell apart, Brawl for All probably, right?
No, it was earlier. No, it was like 96.
Whenever it was.
They fell apart. Whatever. They had Sonny got involved, and it was like 96.
So let's say Billy Gunn retires. Okay, nothing changes. The WWE is in the exact same position they are right now, and the Attitude Era it doesn't make one less dollar without Billy Gunn. So this retconning, this idea that he was some massive star just because he happens to be there when the company is hot, is total fucking bullshit. And like you, to me, that's even more frustrating than listen to people. Now, here's the funny thing. You know what's funny about this? Even the people defending Billy Gunn and being insulted on his behalf, if you look closely, none of them are defending his work. They're not even attempting to defend his work. That speaks volumes too. They're all talking about what a big star he is and how he's twice the star that Kyle Fletcher is. And it's never... How many of these people, Rich, have cited their 5 favorite Billy Gunn matches?
I never saw any. I never saw any matches.
How many of these people have talked about all of the great moments that he had in matches and what a great wrestler he was and how Dave Meltzer's so off base because he had this great match and that great. How many people have done that?
Almost
0.
none. Yeah.
They all immediately go to, oh, yeah, do you know how many T-shirts DX sold? Do you know what a huge star this guy was? He was meaningless. He was utterly meaningless to that. You could remove him from history and it makes no difference. And I also want to say this, okay? Kyle Fletcher main evented a pay-per-view last year that drew over 12,000 fans, did 100. Hold on. It drew over 12,000 fans and did over 140,000 pay-per-view buys. That was last year, Kyle Fletcher. He main evented a pay-per-view all out that did over 12,000 fans and 140,000 pay-per-view buys. So I'm not even Billy.
And that's
Gunn
the first,
even,
and that's the first of his. And he's
first.
20. What, he's 26 years old. So there'll be a couple more of those coming, I'm sure.
So you know what? I'm not even sure Billy Gunn's a bigger star than Kyle Fletcher.
Right.
Are we even sure of that?
Well, you got to find a Billy Gunn a pay-per-view main event, which I don't know that you're going to find one. I think I lived through his entire career, and I'm not sure there is one.
Singles main event? I'm asking a legit question.
Singles main event? I don't think so. I would say the only
have a singles pay-per-view main event.
I don't think so because all he would have ever had would have been honestly. So I looked it up actually. Guess how many in his entire career? His entire career. How many 1-versus-1 pay-per-view matches Billy Gunn had? And this is from his entire career. I'll just say his entire career.
The number is going to be staggeringly low.
It is.
How many is it?
20.
20 in over 20 years.
And half of those are New South Wrestling in Lexington, Kentucky, which is barely counts.
Well, let's just talk WWE, TNA, and AEW.
Okay, WWE, TNA. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Because two of them are also free-for-alls, which I'm not going to count.
They're not pay-per-view matches.
Right.
How many main events?
Let's see. Events? In Your House number 14, Revenge of the Taker, Jesse Jamis versus Rockabilly. I don't think was the main event
Jesse James.
He was Jamis at that time, sir.
They weren't pronouncing it James?
Maybe they were. It had two M's. It had two M's. So
no, that was the gimmick.
I borrowed that from Chris Zellner.
Okay, I'm missing the joke, I guess. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Because they had the two M's. So Zellner always calls him Jamis. He always calls him Jamis.
It went over my head.
That's fine. Royal Rumble 1999. Ken Shamrock defeats Billy Gunn for the IC title. I don't think that main evented that show. I'm pretty sure it did not. No Mercy 1999 in the UK. Mr. Ass defeated Mankind. That did not main event. Over the Edge 1999. The show that Mr. Ass defeated the Road Dogg. That did not main event. King of the Ring, the finals. Mr. Ass defeats X-Pac. That was not the main event of that match.
Yeah, as a King of the Ring tournament, there's no main event on that.
Yeah, no, there was because it was Shane McMahon and Vince versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Was the main event.
That's right.
For control of the company, of course. Right. You know, that you don't have the Attitude Era mind that I remember all this shit.
You remember,
so you can't get any of this by me, especially if you can get it. You can maybe get some of this. No, by me, I know. The Kiss My Ass match against The Rock, he did not main event that one. I know for a fact. Armageddon 2000, Chris Benoit defeats Billy Gunn. By the way, he's won almost none of these. He won the King of the Ring, and otherwise he's just getting his ass kicked.
So how many we got left? No main events?
We have Indecent Proposal. Jamie Noble defeats Billy Gunn at Vengeance 2003. I don't think that was the main event. Then the Great American Bash 2004, his final WWF singles pay-per-view. Kenzo Suzuki defeats Billy Gunn at Great American Bash 2004. So 0.
So are we sure he's even a bigger star than Kyle Fletcher, who has, as I said, did Billy Gunn ever have a main event in a pay-per-view that drew over 12,000 fans and did 140,000 pay-per-view buys?
No.
Did he ever do that, Rich Craig?
No, he did not.
Okay. So, I mean, even from that standpoint, again, these are Attitude Era colored glasses that people wear. Just because he existed in that, just because he was born when he was and happened to be in his prime during that era of the company doesn't automatically make him some massive star. He wasn't. He wasn't. And it's so funny because the other thing that I see him defended on is he was part of a legendary tag team. And it's like, listen, you're not even citing the right tag team because his best work was with the Smoking Guns.
Absolutely, yeah. Beating up jobbers in 1993 WWF is his top work.
And I have to remind everyone that Dave's argument was simply about work. It was about the wrestling. Everyone else made it about star power. I'm sorry that I had to own all of you and point out that Kyle Fletcher had one pay-per-view main event And that's one more than Billy Gunn ever had in his life. And Kyle Fletcher's 25 years old or whatever he is. You're the reason I'm bringing that up. I would have never brought that up. You guys made it about star power. I'm not sure he's a bigger star than Kyle Fletcher. I'm not positive
I don't think so either. I don't think so either.
If you, when you really, he might be, but it's like, again, that would be because he happened to exist at that time and was the less charismatic half of his tag team. Okay. Let me pose this to you. I'm going to give you a list of names. You ready?
Yeah.
Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Jay White, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, Owen Hart, Swerve Strickland, Mick Foley, Darby Allin, Rey Mysterio Jr., MJF. That's 15 wrestlers. Would you consider that a strong list of professional wrestlers?
It's a pretty good list of professional wrestlers, yes.
Of those 15, there's what, probably 12 Hall of Famers or something
pretty
like
much,
that?
yeah. I think, honestly, everybody that you listed is...
Is that a bunch of... You hear a bunch of great workers in that list of 15 wrestlers I named? Did you know that Billy Gunn had singles matches against every single one of those people and none of the matches were great?
That's it.
Did you know that's
segment over? How is that true? Is that really true?
Possible? He wrestled every single one of those people in singles matches at some point in his career, and Billy Gunn has never had a great match.
You know what? You're reminding me of a meme that used to be around in the forum days about Chris Benoit. That people used to say the only two people that Chris Benoit can not get a good match out of is Kane and Billy Gunn. And I think at one point he did have a good match against Kane, so everybody had to update it. But I do remember that being a talking point in like late 90s, early 2000 message boards, is that Chris Benoit, everybody on earth has had a good match with Chris Benoit except for these two men, and Billy Gunn was one of them.
I gave you 14 others.
Yeah. You spotted me 14 others.
Okay. Those are
I forgot about the Tanahashi match.
And listen, that's an incomplete list of great wrestlers that he's worked with.
Right.
I stopped at 15, all singles matches. How is it humanly possible? Rich, I feel like if you let me train for a month and I had singles matches with those 15 people in their primes, I could pull out 1 3 3/4 star match. How did this guy work with all of those people and never have a great match? It's rhetorical. You don't need to answer. That is a crazy list of singles matches to where none of them were memorable. Forget having a great match. You people love your moments. Were any of those matches memorable? You don't even remember half of them.
I didn't. As you were listing the names, I'm like, I don't know where this is going, but apparently I knew where it was going.
You're like Rey Mysterio Jr. When did he wrestle in? But he did. You can look it up.
The Tanahashi one I always forget about.
How do you have singles matches with those 15 guys and not accidentally have a great one?
And none of them are good. Yeah.
So I will take it a step further. You've watched his entire career. You've seen more of his career than me because I checked out of a lot of the Attitude Era. Because it was utter shit. Has Billy Gunn, tag or singles, ever had a great match? Just one. Has he had one? I'm open to it if you suggest me one.
I would say there is one match, off the top of my head, there is one match that I will say, and it's the WrestleMania dumpster tag match. And that is, and let me preface this. This is the New Age Outlaws versus Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie at WrestleMania 14.
I remember it well. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. You know what made that match great? Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie taking fucking hellacious bumps. It's not that hard. Like on the list of people that have a lot of good matches, Terry Funk and Mick Foley have a lot of those. And a lot of those are, I'm giving you my body, do whatever you want with it. And that is what that match was. So look, and Billy Gunn was 4 out of 4 in terms of guys that were important in that match. Road Dogg, Mick Foley, and Terry Funk were the ones. But that is one that I legit think is a very, very good match. But did Billy Gunn make that match good? Absolutely not. He is the least important person in that match.
So there's one. We got another one? That's about the list.
I got you that.
Okay. This is a guy who has been wrestling basically full time since 1993. And he's had one match that I think most people would say, yeah, that was a really good match. Dare I say, great match. And it was a gimmick dumpster match where other people took all the bumps. I mean, look, we're not like going against the great. This guy was never considered good, let alone great. Maybe for a couple years here and there. I would say if you're looking for a period of time in his career where he would even sniff the top 200 wrestlers in the world, you'd have to go to like 1993 or 1994. And you'd have to really be into the Smoking Guns TV squash matches, and because they were a legitimately fun team at that time. Any time after that, because what do you have? You got that weird 96 rockabilly era where he was putrid. Then you've got the Attitude Era, which we've covered top to bottom and shown that he really didn't do much of anything in terms of wrestling. And was not as big a star as people claim he was.
No, a massive flop. It was a massive flop. Indeed, and the thing is, he was a negative star. Like, they gave him the King of the Ring, immediately regretted it, and buried him the whole time, and then just said, "Fuck this is horrible," and then de-pushed him as quick as they possibly could.
He bombed badly twice, and a third time as Rockabilly. We'll leave that one out of it if you want, but he bombed badly when they wanted to make him a main eventer, and he couldn't get there. Rich, he couldn't even get to one main event match either time that they tried it.
Right.
They abandoned his pushes before they even got him into the fucking match because The Rock wouldn't work with him because he knew it was a dead end. So after that, you've got the 5 years in TNA, which is some of the most putrid.
That is underrated.
Work.
It is underrated in how bad it is. And I always find that funny because a lot of TNA runs just get ignored because it's TNA or whatever. The Outlaw, Cute Kip, whatever the hell he was called. I mean, he had like 9 different names there. Horrible. Like, the worst shit you will ever see in your life is his run in TNA. Just dreadful.
But again, we don't care about match quality, Rich. Billy Gunn was such a huge star that TNA just did massive business from 2005, 2009.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how that turned out, right?
I'm sure. I'm not going to look it up, but I'm sure.
How many T-shirts did he sell during those 5 years?
How many Cute Kip shirts did he sell? Yeah, I don't know. Probably a lot.
You see how that works? Okay. So then he bounces around the indies a little bit, comes back. They do the New Age Outlaw run and in the early WWE Network era. Remember that?
Oh, that was right. That was okay. That stuff was fine. He was with the Usos. He was facing the Usos and stuff like that.
Perfectly fine nostalgia.
The Rhodes Scholars, Cody and Damian Sandow and shit like that. Yeah, it was
But
fine.
Again, if you're talking about work, nothing anybody's ever going to remember. And I don't give a shit how many people who worked with him want to tell me how great he is to work with and how safe he is. That's for you if you're in the ring with him.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah,
I'm watching.
That was like the Kane thing. People always say that about Kane. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if he's not snug in the ring.
I mean,
I
that's
don't
fine.
give a shit. Yeah.
That's one facet, I guess. But as a viewer, why does that matter to me? The debate here is, was he one of the 200 best wrestlers in the world? And I'm going through every step of his career to show you that he never was. Then he had his New Japan run. World Tag League teaming with Yoshitatsu. He somehow managed to have a 2.5-star singles match in the prime of Hiroshi Tanahashi's career. How do you even do that? How do you even do that, Rich? In the prime of Hiroshi Tanahashi's career, you have a 2.5-star match. Okay? So he does his little New Japan run and then disappears again for a while, does a bunch of indies. Was he a hot indie star at any point like the Hardys were?
No.
I mean, you're laughing, but I'm trying to be fair.
Nobody bought a ticket to watch Billy Gunn.
Remember when the Hardys were blowing up the indies and were drawing out? Did Billy Gunn ever have that kind of run on the indies during
God,
those
no.
years? I'm asking in good faith.
No. And there were several shows that I went to that he was on. The Dreamwave would book him a lot, and I'd go to the show. No, nobody bought a ticket to watch Billy Gunn.
Did Dreamwave ever do more than the 150 fans they usually do when massive star Billy Gunn came to town?
No.
Okay. I'm surprised because he's such a massive star that sold so many T-shirts because he's such a huge star. And then in 2020, he comes into TNA. Now, look, the guy's in his mid-50s. I'm not holding this run against him. AEW. He's in his mid-50s. I'm not holding this run against him. I don't expect him to be great. But the point here is, at no point in this guy's career was anywhere close to one of the 200 best wrestlers in the world. He just wasn't. It wasn't even controversial. I don't even think it would have been particularly controversial if Dave said 500. Now, there might have been a year or two in there where you can stretch it and fit him into the top at number 480 somewhere. But I mean, I think we get the point here. Okay? I know I can comfortably, without any effort, name 1,000 wrestlers historically better than Billy Gunn. That would be cake.
Oh my God! Historically, globally, yes, easy.
I could almost get to 1,000 active wrestlers that are better than Billy Gunn ever was. Seriously, I can get well into the deep.
No, if we're going globally, it is not that hard to get there.
Easily 1,000, easily 2,000. 2,000's a piece of cake, historically. If I sat down and did it, you give me an hour and a half, 2 hours, I can come up with 2,000 names similar to my 100 teams better than the Dudleys, where, Rich, you wouldn't even dispute any of them. You would sound foolish to dispute them.
We talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but I made a Word doc where I was just kind of, anytime a wrestler came to my mind, but then I just realized every wrestler that came to my mind I was putting on the
almost
list.
Every wrestler you can
and I
think
was
of
like,
is
why
better.
am I doing this? This is stupid. It's just basically the list is every wrestler almost ever with a few rare exceptions. Like, that was my list.
Yeah.
So there was no point in doing it anymore.
This is going to sound absurd to some people, okay? I can name 5,000. I can name 5,000 wrestlers historically who were better than Billy Gunn. And again, this isn't meant to bang on Billy Gunn. I'm sure he's a swell guy, okay? I'm sure he's as great to work with as all of these veterans claimed he was who came to his defense. All of those things.
He passes the airport test for sure. I walked past him once at a hotel lobby, and I was like, that motherfucker's massive. Like, he's one of those guys that you do not realize is as massive as he is because he worked in Major League American Wrestling for so long, and he didn't look as big as some of those other dudes. But you see him against with like normal humans, and you're like, holy fuck, Billy Gunn's a massive guy. The Headbangers too were two guys I walked past at a hockey game once, at a Chicago Blackhawks game. I walked by the Headbangers. I was like, those are the biggest guys I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's the fucking Headbangers. But that's about it. Other than that, that's my praise for Billy Gunn.
But what I know about Billy Gunn for certain is when it comes to his wrestling, his bell to bell, he was never one of the 200 best wrestlers in the world.
No.
He's not one of the 5,000 best wrestlers of all time. And if you really wanted to push me and make me do it, I don't even think he was one of the 200 best wrestlers in the 3 American major promotions during any point of the Attitude Era.
I mean, we could probably
come
do
up
this.
with 200 more.
We could probably do this.
We could do it. I the more I think about it, the more certain I am that we could do it.
No, I'm looking at this WCW roster because, again, you can. I love the SmackDown Hotel. You can pick the date. I mean, just that I went to 1999 and just that WCW roster in 1999. You could clean up very quickly.
I mean, we don't. Not only do we not have to leave America, we don't have to leave WCW, WWF, or ECW, and we could probably get to 200.
Just to give you an idea, here, let's do this as an exercise. We're not going to do all of them. I'm going to read the first 3 lines of people. Okay, this is the 1999 WCW roster. Okay, 1999 WCW
99. This isn't even peak
99.
WCW.
This isn't even peak WCW. 1999.
They're on the way down at this point.
Yes. All right. Here's the first 3 lines.
All right.
Alex Wright.
We'll keep going.
Oh no, I was gonna say, are you gonna just do yes or no? Is
read them all off, and I'll mark down the ones I think.
Okay,
and then I'll tell
you want to do that? Okay, Alex
yeah.
Wright. Arn Anderson. I think.
Oh God. Can I count him twice?
Yes, you can. 4 times. You can actually count him 4 times. Yeah. He's doing the 4 horseman pose in this picture. So you can pick
now
him.
that's a great. Now listen, for people who don't know, that's a great pro wrestler.
Yes, Arn Anderson.
Anyway.
I agree. We're breaking new ground here on this Thursday flagship. Arn Anderson, good. Anderson, good. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
The Barbarian.
Okay.
Hole-in-one Barry Darso, or just Barry Darso in general. He's in his hole-in-one gear here, but you can count him as whatever you want.
Okay.
Barry Horowitz.
All right.
Barry Windham.
All right.
Bobby Blaze.
Okay.
Bobby the Brain Heenan. He's announcer at that point, so we could just skip him. Bobby Duncombe Jr.
Okay.
Bobby Eaton.
Oh, gee, you think? Okay.
Bobby Walker, for a multitude of reasons. I think probably he's the real bad one, right?
Listen, OJ ran for those yards. Just keep going.
Well, he wasn't very good. Right. Bobby Walker wasn't good either.
No, he wasn't. I'm just.
He's the one though, right? He's the one.
Rich, I'm not giving opinions yet. I'm just marking.
All right, sorry. Booker T. Brad Armstrong.
Right.
Brett the Hitman Hart. Brian Adams. Now there's a pick. I'm curious what you say with that one. We'll go back to that one.
Okay.
Buff Bagwell.
All right.
My man Chad Fortune.
Okay.
Chavo Guerrero.
Right.
Jr. And then Chris Adams.
Okay. 14 of those guys are definitely better than Billy Gunn.
I agree. Yeah. So what were your lists? Who were the definitely?
I just did dash marks.
Okay.
4 of them are not. I came up 4 of those names. Billy Gunn is better.
I think Billy Gunn is better than Bobby Duncombe Jr., Bobby Walker, Brian Adams, and Chad Fortune is my 4.
Those might have been my 4. It sounds, but I also had a middle group of 2 or 3 that I think I'd have to think about it more than just on the spot.
Like Barry Darsow would be one where I'm like,
Barry Darsow.
Yeah.
Barry Darsow was one I put where I'm like, I have to think about it.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, Darsow had a better career.
Okay, so now let's do the WCW roster in 1997. I'm just going to pick a random part of that WCW roster, okay, just as a thought experiment. So let's go scroll. Okay.
Anyway, for that 99, it was 14 out of 18 to me are better than Billy Gunn.
Right. Okay, I just randomly scrolled. We'll do another 3 lines here.
And like 12 of them were like no brainers. Like,
right. Brett's the Hitman Hart. Yeah.
Brad Armstrong. Like, what are we even doing? Like,
Bobby
it's not even
Eaton.
close. Yeah, Bobby Eaton. Anyway.
All right, so a random line in 1997 WCW. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Conan.
Right.
La Parka.
Yep.
Lanny Poffo.
Okay.
Larry Zbysko.
Lanny Poffo's funny because it's like
I know.
he never ended up working, but we're just going who was better wrestler?
He's on the list. Yep, he's on the list.
Zbysko was an announcer. Are we counting him?
No, hold on. He faced Scott Hall at WCW Starrcade 1997.
I'm gonna give up. Listen, in 1997, Billy Gunn was better than Larry Zbysko.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a no from me, dog.
Fair enough. Bruno versus Larry, by the way, flagshippatreon.com. Lex Luger.
Okay.
Lord Steven Regal.
Right.
Let's get some ladies in here. Medusa.
Oh, that's a close one. Okay.
Marcus Alexander Bagwell. He hasn't quite gotten buff at this point.
I think he was one of my no's in 99.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's the shits. Come on, let's be honest.
Masahiro Chono.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Miko Satomura.
I
don't know. Billy Gunn or Miko. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down.
Let me think about that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Meng.
Right.
Mike Enos.
Right.
Mr. JL.
Yeah.
Pat Tanaka.
Yeah, only 2 of them were worse. I got 14 better.
So we're just picking like
the only 2 were Bagwell and there got to be another.
Larry Zbysko, you said.
Zbysko.
Yeah.
Bagwell and the announcer are the only 2.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, just doing random collections of guys. It's.
I mean, like some of those other ones were like people like Mike Enos is so much better than Billy Gunn. Like it's not even like, you know what I mean? So so 14 out of 17 and 14 out of 18 from 1999. And this is what I'm saying. I think you could probably get to 200 in any one of those years where he was where Billy Gunn's peak.
We just listed about 30, 40 names, and he's
better. He's definitely better than about 5 or 6 of them.
Right. That was just a random selection and that was just you said, like just WCW and just and WCW in 2 different random years, including one of their down years in 1999. It's absurd how quickly you could get the numbers.
Yeah. So again, I just think that to wrap this up, I just think that, we talk about this all the time. I just think that fans are speaking different languages sometimes. We're all speaking English, but we're really just speaking different languages because I think there's a large group of modern fans who really don't know the difference between good wrestlers and bad wrestlers. And you see it even today when they're like totally blown away and taken aback if someone says that like Trick Williams isn't any good. They don't understand why Trick Williams isn't good. So why would they understand why Billy Gunn wasn't that good? It's the same thing. They don't know. They just don't know, Rich. And it's like, some people are doing it to be performative. Some people are doing it to just fade Dave Meltzer at every turn. A lot of it is the tribalism because the WWE fans, of course, the tribalistic ones are going to say that moments and stories and all this stuff matters and work doesn't and good matches. Who cares? But I do think a lot of it too is they don't know what a good match is. Mm-hmm. And you know what else proves that? Every time there is a great match in WWE, these people fall over each other when they see greatness, they understand it, but they see it so few and far between that it's lost on them a lot of the time. I don't think that a lot of these people can see a difference between Trick Williams and Gunther. I'm serious. I don't think they know the difference, Rich. I don't think they know the difference between what Trick Williams does and what Sami Zayn does. I don't think they know. They don't see it because they don't watch it like that. They're watching for different things.
Right.
And this is me being overly polite, but I also think that's the truth. But when you've got, your Eric Bischoffs and your people like that who are coming at this and talking about, Eric Bischoff talking about how Billy Gunn was such a huge star, which we demonstrated that he wasn't, that he clearly wasn't ever a huge star. He happened to be around when there were a lot of big stars, and he was part of it. And how he said that, and I'm paraphrasing, that Kyle Fletcher couldn't draw flies to a barn. Do you think Eric Bischoff is even aware that Kyle Fletcher main evented a pay-per-view that drew almost 13,000 fans and 140,000 pay-per-view buys? No. Eric Bischoff, who does a podcast about the business side of pro wrestling, probably isn't even aware of that. He just talks completely out of his ass. The man knows nothing. He's clueless. He's a total buffoon. But somehow he has a following because he beat WWE in the ratings for a year and a half. And there's 45 to 55-year-old men who cannot let go of that. And they still think it matters. When the reality is, it didn't even matter in real time.
Did not matter then.
What did it matter even in real time? And it means less now. And all it is allowed, and unfortunately, all that it is allowed for is to give a platform to a guy that's fucking clueless and knows nothing. And unfortunately, we're stuck with him until his unfortunate passing someday. We're stuck with him because he won a meaningless ratings war for like a year and a half, which isn't even all that impressive, by the way.
And the reason we're stuck with him, too, is because all of his other business ventures failed miserably. So he's stuck on the only thing he has ever actually been successful at.
I wish that man was the greatest reverse mortgage broker in the history of the business.
I wish he was the best beer brewer ever, but unfortunately, he is not.
Go the fuck away.
Unfortunately, midget wrestling and
I wish he
celebrity wrestling and the Ninja Stars and
I wish he had the magic touch for creating reality shows, but unfortunately, everything he touches flops.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Scott Baio show did not become the most popular reality show ever, and Jason Hervey doesn't do anything with him anymore.
Wait, hold on. That was his successful one.
I know. It had like 3 seasons. That's it. So.
Okay. So I wish this guy was good at something else so he'd go away because he poisons the well. But does he really? Or is he just speaking to an echo chamber of
he's tossing chum. He's tossing chum to these guys.
Of 50-year-old dudes who can't let go of the attitude.
Right. These same people, there would be somebody else. There would be somebody else if it wasn't Bischoff. It's just, these people need that chum. They will never get past it. They are stuck in it. I even know people that are just constantly, their wrestling lives are just consumed by the Attitude Era, and they will never grow out of it. They'll never get out of it. They're just stuck forever and ever and ever in it. And it's very strange. I can't understand it. I just really cannot, but it's got a hook on people that is never ever gonna let go, and I don't understand it.
Well, to wrap this up, anyone who wants to dispute anything we had to say, my answer would be, all right, give me your 5 favorite Billy Gunn matches. Tell me the great matches this guy has had. And if you want to come at me with, well, he was a huge star, well, all right, give me the 5 biggest buy rates he ever did, main eventing a pay-per-view.
Give me the best moments.
I'm not even asking.
Give me the best moments of Billy Gunn's career. I'll take that too.
Sure, that too. And give me all of his great pay-per-view successes and give me all the ratings he popped over the course of his career. If you want to tell me what a great star he was, I mean, then back it up. It's very easy to just say those things and go, Attitude Era. But it's another thing when you have to show your work. I think that we just showed our work. I think we sufficiently showed our work here. I'm open to debate anyone on this. Never a top 200 wrestler. I say not a top 5,000 wrestler in the history of the business, and I think I could probably go higher than that. Okay? And I also say not a big star either. And I also am not sure if he's a bigger star than Kyle Fletcher. I'm not sure of that. He might be, but I'm not. I'll tell you what, in 3 years he won't be. It won't even be a debate.
No, oh God, no. I mean, Kyle already has, like you said, as you addressed,
it won't even be debatable.
Kyle already has one more pay-per-view main event than Billy Gunn ever had. And
already cleared. Yeah. He's cleared. Kyle Fletcher has cleared Billy Gunn already in successful pay-per-view main events. And he's 25 years old.
Yeah. I think he's 27 or 28, but regardless.
Whatever he is. He's in his 20s.
By the time he's 30, and especially by the time he's 62, I think he'll eclipse 1 as the number of pay-per-view main events that he's been in.
The work is not even debatable. And at that point, the star power won't be debatable either. Pause and cut for YouTube right there. There you go.
It's a long YouTube video, but there you go. That is our Billy Gunn evisceration. There you go. I think people that were like, I don't know, you really, it's a played out topic. I think I might enjoy that conversation. That was a good little topic, good little conversation we had there. All right. Let's get to some of these other topics here on the show. AEW. Speaking of AEW, we're talking about Kyle Fletcher. You on the Thursday Dynamite review this week, flagship patreon.com, $5 tier, talked about how you think AEW is on a pretty good run right now. And I agree. I've been watching a lot of the collisions. I've been watching a lot of the Dynamites. And I agree. I think AEW is looking really, really good right now. This is, I'll say Dynamite last night, except for just a couple of things here and there, was pretty much my idealized version of a pro wrestling TV show. I thought that was a fantastic show last night. Kicked off by the promos. The old, well, Collision used to do them, but the old Saturday Night's Main Event is how I always think of them. The classic Saturday Night's Main Event promos where the show starts off with your top stars cutting promos about what they're going to do into the camera. I mean, that'll always work for me. I loved when they brought those back for Collision, when the debut of the first couple weeks of Collision, and then it kind of fell off, and I loved them here on Dynamite, so hopefully they bring them back. But yeah, I think they've been on a really, really good run of TV lately. I think the Collisions have been really good, as they usually are, and I think the Dynamites have been on a pretty good trajectory as well. So I just want to kind of reiterate that, because I know you discussed it a little bit on the Thursday Dynamite review, and I feel like on these Thursday flagships, we don't talk a whole lot of AEW because you do the Dynamite review, and I don't feel like kind of bringing that back up. If there's a pay-per-view, we'll preview it on the Thursday, but I tend to not give a whole lot of thoughts on AEW because I just kind of wait for the Instant Reaction Lives or wait for our pay-per-view reviews. But yeah, I just wanted to chime in and agree that I think AEW's run of TV has been very, very good lately. It's the definitely the stuff that I like. The company, as it's been the last couple of weeks, if you ever want to know what I want out of my AEW and what I think AEW can and should be, it's these last couple of weeks. And if you want an idea of what I think Dynamite can and should be every single week, this week's Dynamite was just about it, man, in terms of just good wrestling, good promos, short on bullshit, maybe a little too much interference for me. I could probably do with a little less interference, but other than that, it's a pretty damn perfect wrestling show, TV wrestling show for me. But yeah, I really, really like Dynamite. I know you put it over pretty big on the Thursday Dynamite review. But what I really wanted to do was talk about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks for AEW, because one thing that I've really appreciated about them in the last year, kind of last 6 months or so, is they've gotten back to announcing stuff ahead of time. And there was a while there where they weren't doing it, and there was this idea that, like, well, they do that because it's good for people that buy, last minute is good for this and good for that. And I never quite bought into that. I think it's a terrible idea to try to tell people to go buy tickets for a show and you don't know what the hell is going to be on the show, and then you find out 2 hours before the show what's going to be on it. Like, that doesn't seem like it works very well. Maybe it works better for ratings than it does for ticket buys, but I think announcing stuff ahead of time is a far better idea if you're going to be a company like AEW. And they've gotten ahead of a lot of things here. So next week's Dynamite, we already know 3 matches on next week's Dynamite, and they're all pretty big matches too. And I think one of the points that you've been reiterating on the Thursday Dynamite reviews is that AEW feels pretty damn whole again, because a lot of people have come back. A lot of the new signings they've had have fit in perfectly. Like the Young Bucks being babyfaces again, I think helps. Omega being back helps. Hangman being a babyface positioned at the top of the card helps. Swerve being back helps. So really the only missing piece now, MJF back helps. The only missing piece right now is basically Will Ospreay, but they even teased that he's, soon to be coming back, or potentially soon to be coming back on the show. So that's really helped them too, because I think these cards look a little bit better because they have so many other top guys there. But next week's Dynamite, there's a AEW World Tag Team Title number one contendership match. The Rascals, Xavier and Myron Reed versus the Young Bucks versus a mystery team. So we don't know who the third is just yet, but you got the Young Bucks and the Rascals there. And if there's any team that the Rascals are going to have a good match with in AEW, it's definitely the Young Bucks. They've been really, really good lately. Ciampa versus Kyle Fletcher. I mean, Ciampa has been a perfect addition to AEW so far, and TNT title match with Ciampa and Kyle Fletcher. That sounds awesome. I don't know what that's an interesting result too of how you navigate that, what you do. Kyle Fletcher doesn't really need the TNT title anymore, so I wonder what happens there in terms of Fletcher still on the ascension. You want him to still ascend, but maybe not win this match. So we'll see what happens there. And then a women's world title match, a strap match, Chris Statlander versus Tekla, happening next week on Dynamite. So that's a pretty good lineup already for next week's Dynamite. And then did you have any thoughts on that before I get to Grand Slam Australia? Because I think that's where I really wanted to shout out AEW's building of different stories or whatnot.
No, I just think that they're doing a great job having everything peak for Grand Slam Australia, which is going to take place on Valentine's Day. I think it's going to air on a delay in the United States on Valentine's Day night. Isn't that the deal?
That is correct, yeah.
which is going to be challenging. Of course, it's a rough night for drawing television. You got to convince your wife that you want to stay home and watch wrestling instead of, throw a steak down her throat and give her some flowers. You want to stay home and watch Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita. Hard sell.
It's going to be tough. Yeah.
So, what they're doing is they're peaking everything for Grand Slam Australia, which was a very successful show, both at the gate and in television ratings last year. Yeah. I think they did Mariah May and Toni Storm on top and all of that.
And that was after the dunk contest, right? Wasn't that week? That was where they did the NBA All-Star Saturday, and then afterwards they had Grand Slam Australia. Yeah, which was a great idea, too, to do that.
Much better circumstances than running cold on Valentine's Day. It's going to be rough. So Tony has really loaded it up. And I think that the booking of the last few weeks and the show quality, Dynamite and Collision, have been excellent the last few weeks. And I've reviewed every one of them behind the paywall. Okay. I've done every Dynamite, obviously, and I've done all but like the 2 or 3 that you stepped in for last 6 years. And I've done every Collision on Flagship Plus over the last month or so too. And the TVs have been great. All the different guys that are hovering in the world title chase and all of that. And it's all coming to a head at Grand Slam Australia, which honestly is going to be a show that's going to set the deck for everything that's going to happen at the pay-per-view a month later.
Yeah, and it's really a pay-per-view quality event that they're doing on Saturday. So they're making it tough. They're making it, if you're there, Tony wants you to have difficult conversations.
He clearly wants to pop a number.
Yeah.
He's trying to pop a number here.
So. He is. So good luck to all you men out there trying to work. All right, hey, you women too. Maybe women got to convince their man, their non-wrestling watching male partner that, hey, I got to be home on Saturday, especially Valentine's Day Saturday is tough. It's rough. One thing to do Valentine's Day. It's like on a Tuesday or whatever, and it's like,
you could tell her, I'll take you out on the weekend.
Right.
Why fight the crowds tonight? Let's go out on the weekend.
Right, but
that's always
Saturday.
my move.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm like, it's a Wednesday. You don't want to go out on Wednesday. Come on, yeah. It's,
I'm always like, all the young dating couples are going to be out. It's going to be a madhouse everywhere. Let's just wait a couple days, And that's always my sell. But on a Saturday, that's a harder sell.
Saturday night is pretty perfect. Yeah, you probably should make those. If you're going, you better make those reservations now because it's going to be impossible to get anywhere at that time. But anyway, Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita for the AEW Continental title, which sounds awesome. And it's another interesting, like the Ciampa Kyle Fletcher, very fascinating how they get out of that finish because I don't think you want Takeshita beating Jon Moxley for that title, but maybe you do. And it's Continental title rules, so you don't really get the chance for that much interference or run-ins or whatever. So I'm curious how they go for that match. But that's a big-time match, and I love a good match where I have no idea who the finish is going to be, and it could be either guy. Like it's exactly what you want out of your pro wrestling. AEW World Title, MJF versus Brody King. Now we know MJF is winning that match, but still, big moment for Brody King. Should be a pretty fun match. Andrade versus Hangman Page. AEW World Title #1 contendership on that Grand Slam Australia, which sounds awesome. Babes of Wrath versus Mega Bad. Babes of Wrath versus Mega Bad. And then mixed tag, and then someone's losing their hair. Orange Cassidy and Toni Storm versus the Death Riders of Marina Shafir in Wheeler, Utah. So have they decided, are both members losing their hair, or is just one member?
No, it's whoever takes the fall.
Whoever takes the fall. Okay.
Yeah.
Wheeler,
that's what they said on TV last week.
That's what I thought. So. That's what I thought. So it's Wheeler Yuta, unfortunately. That's losing his hair, but that's fine. Yeah. You know what? Tony's a weirdo. She might lose her hair. Who the fuck knows? Probably Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler could use a cut.
He could use it. You get that nasty, stringy, nasty hair of his. He could use a haircut. Looks really gross. I think that's the idea, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I don't want him to lose his hair. Actually,
you don't. Oh, okay.
Well, no, because the stringy thing kind of works for the Death Riders. But if you're eventually going to tell the long story of him leaving the Death Riders or whatever, but it doesn't feel like that's where we're at right now with Wheeler. Tony. Tony's weird. Let her get that'd be a good heat, right? Toni Storm getting her head shaved.
It takes some guts for Tony to shave her hair, but she's the kind of person who would do it.
She's the exact type of person that would do it.
Yeah. Well, her and Serena Deeb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever her name was. Did she have the same name back then?
No, she was no. It was it just Serena? No, she had another name. Was it just Serena?
I can't remember.
Let's see. Serena Deeb, WWE. I forget if she had a different name. And that was a good angle. I remember kind of like
Punk shaved her head.
Yeah. Serena. It was Serena. Luke Gallows.
Luke Gallows in the group. Right?
Little straight edge society. Yep.
Yeah. Who else was in that? Let's make up a member. Brian Myers was in that group. Yeah, remember?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Brian Myers was in Straight Edge Society.
No.
I just said let's make up a member and convince everybody. And you can't even run with it for 10 seconds.
I missed that part. I'm like, Brian Myers, what are you talking about?
I mean, come on, sell it, will you, Rich?
Face the facts. Well, no, I'm arguing with somebody in the chat room who's bringing up a main event that Billy Gunn was in Your House, No Way Out of Texas. And the match was Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Triple H, and Savio Vega versus Stone Cold, Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, and Owen Hart. And I said,
come on. What is
that doesn't count because Billy Gunn was the eighth most important person in that match. And the guy said, oh, no, Savio Vega was like way less important. And I'm thinking,
come on. Why are we doing semantics and splitting hairs?
Here's the thing. Guess who was supposed to be in that match and bailed out literally the day of the show?
Who? I don't even know.
Shawn Michaels, because his back was fucked.
Well, so what was Michaels?
So Savio replaced Shawn Michaels day of.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
Everybody that bought the pay-per-view and everybody that bought a ticket, trust me, Billy Gunn was the least important person in that match.
You're buying it for Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels on opposite sides.
Yes. The month before WrestleMania. Yep.
Yeah.
And Cactus Jack and it's plenty of other reasons than Billy Gunn.
Hardly a checkmate with that
right,
one. Hardly a checkmate. Stop getting distracted by the chat now.
Okay. All
right.
Brian Myers, face the facts. Yep.
Yes, he was part of the Straight Edge Society. Correct. That was a great pick too. People would have bought that.
Yeah.
Because my goal would be to have people messaging you all week to say that Brian Myers was not, in fact, in the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah.
And me getting text messages all week.
Joe, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're thinking of Joey Mercury, who Joey Mercury was definitely in the Straight Edge Society. That one was true, but I think that was it. I want to say that was it. It was not a big group. Nexus was big. He also led Nexus, CM Punk. Remember Nexus?
Briefly, he did, yeah.
Yeah. In post Wade
Which
Barrett.
Also, ironically enough, Brian Myers was a part of that.
He was indeed, yeah. Are you sure he wasn't part of Core, Wade Barrett's breakoff group, Core with the 3 R's or whatever?
It was Nexus. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember specifically Brian Myers, part of Nexus.
Face the facts, yeah.
With his New York Mets colored gear.
And his action figures. His dolls.
Working a little stiff against the action. You probably got a lot of listeners collect those dolls, Rich.
Yeah, well, good for them. I have a couple of those dolls. I got to my right here, I got an Ahmed Johnson. I got a Luka Doncic, which was gifted to me the day he got traded last year without knowing.
Right.
I got the gift, and then 2 hours later he was traded. What do we got here? Got the Undertaker.
That's because you're an all-time mush. That's why you get the Luka Doncic starting lineup, and he gets traded 2 hours later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it wasn't a starting lineup.
No, it was. It's exactly a starting lineup.
Oh, they still make those?
They still make those. Yeah, it's a figure, and then it's got like a little card slot, so you can put the card next to his figure or whatever. And
they're not still made by Kenner, are they?
I don't think they are still made by Kenner. Okay. No, I think Kenner's. All
right.
Is Kenner still around? Kenner Cards?
I think that's who made starting lineup. Kenner Toy Company. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The starting lineups were big when I was like in third grade. That's when they were peaking, like with the.
Yeah, they were kind of were they a budgety brand though?
Starting lineup?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think so? Okay, because I had a lot of them, so I just assumed that I got them because they were cheaper than the others.
Like other what?
Well, like Tops. I figured Tops and Upper Deck were a little higher class.
Those are
starting
baseball
lineup.
cards. Those are baseball cards.
Okay.
I'm talking about the action figures.
Starting the action figures. Okay.
See, I thought you said you got a Luka Doncic starting lineup action figure.
I did get an action figure. I did get and I think it is a starting lineup. But they had cards too. Starting lineup had cards as well. They would come with the action figures.
Oh, yeah. No one cared about that. I'm talking about the
I got a lot of those. Okay, the figures, yes.
Yeah. No. See, we're talking about two different things.
So Kenner did make starting lineup, but Hasbro absorbed Kenner in 1991.
Okay.
So
all right. So now they're making, and I was not aware they're still producing starting lineups.
Yeah.
I would always like when they I would always try to identify the scrubbiest player who got a starting lineup figure when I was a kid.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of a good NBA comp today of like someone who would have a starting lineup, who would plausibly have one, but probably shouldn't have one. Who would you go with, like Zach LaVine or something?
Yeah. So it's somebody that's like the top player on a team, but they're really not that good.
They're really not that great of a player. And I don't deserve an action figure. Right. Maybe like
I'm looking right now. Here's a great comp. In 1993, there was a Detlef Schrempf Indiana Pacers starting lineup, and that's not very good.
That's not a starting lineup caliber player.
No.
I like Detlef Schrempf. I like him a lot.
Good little player, Detlef. But
I don't know what kid was asking for a Detlef Schrempf action figure.
Well, many German children, I'm sure, were looking for a.
Who cares what the Germans want? But I'm saying, I don't know how many kids were asking for that for Christmas.
Right.
Mom, I really need Detlef Schrempf. They wanted Reggie Miller. Okay. They might have they wanted Chuck Person, maybe Mark Jackson. Nobody wanted Detlef Schrempf. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, today would be like who's this? Oh, Glenn Rice.
Like Karis LeVert or something.
That's a little lower than that. No, come on. Detlef's better than that. Karis LeVert. What team is Karis? You don't even know what team Karis. Who he play for? Who he play for, Joe?
I can't even fake it. But he was the best net for like a year and a half.
Well, yeah, but that was like.
So I'm saying he would have had a starting lineup when he was on the Nets, and that's like perfect.
I think they would have just skipped. I think they would have skipped the Nets year.
You can't skip a team.
I think they would have skipped the Nets that year.
You can't skip a team. You would have had a Karis LeVert fucking starting lineup. That's my point. And if it were 1993, you'd have an Armand Gilliam starting lineup.
Right, the Nets, always the Nets, yeah.
Always the Nets.
I'm sure they struggled for many years to try to fill out the Nets until Jason Kidd got there. Or Kerry Kittles. Kerry Kittles helped him for a couple years there.
It was dark between Kenny Anderson, Derek Coleman, and Jason Kidd.
I was going to say, you got DC, you got some DC in there, maybe some Kenny Anderson, and then, getting real tough there for a while.
They're just the guy at Kenner shrugging his shoulders going, all right, Chris Morris it is.
Right. Does anybody have a better idea? Or, speak now.
We don't.
Right.
All right. How many for Sam Bowie? Hands up.
Yeah.
Right. It's rough. So Karis LeVert.
Are we going Kendall Gill this year, guys? We can't go Kendall Gill, right? We're not.
Exactly.
Right? Keith Van Horn.
Exactly.
We'll do Keith Van Horn, I guess. But
right.
Jason Williams at the Y. Yeah, we could include a shotgun with this figure too. So.
What about poor Jason Williams? What about DeAndre Fox? Is he starting lineup worthy?
No, because Victor Wembanyama would take the Spurs.
Well, you could have more than one from a team.
Yeah.
Okay, you could have more than one.
You're thinking of De'Aaron Fox, by the way, not DeAndre Fox.
Whatever. Modern NBA.
Who he play for? I just said, so you know that. So.
Well, I would have said Kings. So
you would have been a little wrong. Yeah, no, he's not a King anymore, but because you don't follow the NBA anymore, and everybody's on different teams. I saw this. You'll love this. The 2018 NBA draft, the lottery, every player is on a different team now.
Yeah, it's a joke.
The 2018 NBA lottery, which was not that long ago, everyone is on a different team.
I'm glad I don't follow the NBA anymore because it would be infuriating. The NBA trade deadline is pure chaos. It's every team turning over their roster by 1/3. It's crazy. What kind of roster construction is happening in the NBA where 4 months later, everybody trades a third of their roster? And no one's happy with what they have.
No one likes it. Yeah, everyone's upset.
It's crazy, And it's always like, we got to trade Lamar Engelberger for 6 second-round draft picks. What? What are these trades? What are even these trades? Like, how do all these second-round draft picks get traded?
My Chicago Bulls acquired 9 second-round picks in the last 3 days.
What are we doing? And then they're just going to trade all of those for Snodgrass. Like, it's just it's moving shit across the table. I don't understand how and it's all they're all line items on a fucking Excel spreadsheet.
Aprons. You got to know about the second apron, the repeater tax. You got to know all about this stuff. So
we're not building teams. We're getting under aprons is what we're doing in the NBA.
Yes,
I'm so glad I don't have a favorite NBA team anymore. It would be infuriating. How are people supposed to have a connection with the players and the team when there's just total turnover? It's just total turnover unless you're like one of the top 5 teams. They keep all their stars for as long as they can. Everybody else is just reshuffling the deck every 6 months. Crazy. It really is crazy.
So that's Grand Slam Australia, right? That's a whole show. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of check in.
That's Grand Slam Australia, and we also just wrote off our NBA season pass for 2020.
You're right. So you're right. All the Karis LeVert talk really worked out very well for us.
Yeah.
Joe, he is actually, I don't know. He might have changed teams.
You don't even know.
Well, he may have changed yesterday. He was a Piston, but I don't know if he's still a Piston. He is still a Piston. Yes. Okay.
You buried me, and you didn't know what team he played
for. Well,
for.
he was a Piston. He was a Hawk, and then he was a Piston, so I had to make sure.
We got to cut Charles Barkley a break. It's not easy.
No.
It's also not our job.
Yeah, you try to remember who. Well, the best one is, they're like, Charles, we just watched him. Who's the one every year?
That was the best one
Garrett
ever.
Temple.
I don't know who that player was.
It's always Garrett Temple, but it wasn't that year. It wasn't Garrett Temple, but.
No. There was the one where Kenny Smith was like, Chuck, his game just ended. We just watched it. It was on TNT.
Man, I don't know. Well, say one of the two teams we just watched, Chuck. We just watched two teams.
He's like, Chuck, he just played 9 minutes and had 4 rebounds in the game we just watched, and he still didn't know.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
He's like, man, I don't know. And they're like, just one of the two teams. And I remember Ernie being like, well, you have a 1 in 2 chance to get this right. So just name one of them. And he's like, oh, the Brooklyn Nets. I'm like, no. It's like he got it wrong still. And it was like, come on. There's 2 teams. Just say one of the 2 teams. And he's still.
It's so good. It's so good.
Anyway, all right. Joe, help me make sense of what the fuck is going on with Big Data Plus Panel, the biggest heel in wrestling. Big Data Plus Panel, a bayface turn of sorts for Big Data Plus Panel. Big Data Plus Panel. What the fuck is going on with this thing?
So the short answer is I don't know.
Okay.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Dynamite pops this big number, right, by modern standards, and Tony's out there popping champagne. But then every other show that week also popped their biggest number in many months, and as it turns out, that was across the cable industry. That was the talk because Nielsen once again changed the way that they're collecting the Big Data Plus Panel. So everything across cable TV was up that same week. So it's notable because pro wrestling, for whatever reason, took the biggest hit under the new data collection. And no one was able really to put a finger on why that was the case. So what's happening now is the total viewership is up. And the over 50 seems to be up big. But what seems to be artificially down is the viewers per household are at basically close to all-time low levels across all of these wrestling shows. And also, for some reason, the 18 to 49 hasn't risen with the rest of the demo. So it's very strange. No one really knows what's going on. And my whole view on this is I'm just ignoring these wrestling. I'm basically keeping one eye on the wrestling ratings until we settle into something that at least is going to be consistent, and the Big Data Plus Panel only lasted a few months before we're changing it again. So Dynamite doing their big number, SmackDown doing their biggest number since whenever, Thursday Night Impact going up from the first 2 weeks. It's all bullshit. Like none of it is real. We don't know what the real numbers are. So to me, it's just you just have to. I'm ignoring it at this point. I mean, it's because how am I supposed to assess something if I'm not sure how it's being collected, and if I'm not sure they're going to change it again in a couple months, the method that they're collecting. So to me, wrestling ratings are just something that you just like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do with this data.
Yeah, and if you can't make comparison points, because that's the whole thing that we mentioned too with like the TNA thing, it was okay. You can't compare Dynamite to what it was a year ago, but you can compare it week to week or whatever under this new thing. And we were talking about how TNA was fun to kind of track because it was like, okay, we can compare this. But now that I'm supposed to believe that TNA is doing more viewers in its 3rd week than it was in the debut, and it's just like, all right. Well, and Collision, it had the most viewers it had since May, and then it's like the best demo number since 2024, and I'm like, what is happening here? I don't know. So I've kind of I was hoping you could add some clarity, because my thought was I don't think I give a fuck about these ratings anymore, because if we're gonna just keep changing them and we don't know what the hell's being collected, and in 2 more months they might say, oh yeah, sorry, actually the new rating system is this. It's like, okay, we can't. The whole point of it is that we can compare it against other weeks and compare trends and look at things. If we can't do that anymore, then what the fuck are we doing? Whatever, fine. If this is what the advertisers are going to use, great, whatever. But for us, for the purposes of analyzing wrestling, it's becoming very cumbersome and very annoying. And okay, I'm kind of where you're at then too. I'm gonna keep one eye on it, but I have no interest in really talking about it anymore. If they're just so volatile, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's and we're all waiting it out. The one article that I read on all of these changes really didn't clarify what the changes were. It was very, and we follow this stuff and generally have a better grasp of it than the layman fan out there. And I still am not entirely clear on what the changes are. I didn't listen to the segment, but I asked someone who listened to Meltzer, and he didn't really have any allegedly. Did you listen to Dave talk about this?
I did, and I really don't understand what he was talking about when he was done. He went big into like the over 50s and it being really important there, and that's maybe why wrestling. And that's his theory is the new, or the previous new, I guess let's call it that. The original Big Data Plus panel was not good for over 50s. Like it didn't know how to track over 50s or whatever. So he thinks that's why it really hurt wrestling for a while, because so many people over 50 watch wrestling. So that you kind of mess with those numbers, then it's a huge. And I think this is what he said. Don't quote me on this. I don't know if I think this is what he was getting at was right. Over 50s were negatively affected in the original rollout of Big Data Plus panel, but now in this one they found out a better way to cover the over 50s. So that's why wrestling is getting that big boost, because despite the fact that, they'll tell you it's a family thing and it's a global brand and we do all this sort of shit, most people watching wrestling are old as fuck. Most people watching wrestling are over 50. That they do insanely large numbers in those demos. Right. So that is his theory, is that maybe it's only affecting, it's not only affecting, the biggest effect is on the over 50s, and that's why you're seeing, because remember how like everything else wasn't really affected by the Big Data Plus panel? But that's his. But even then, he came to the conclusion of like, I don't know, nobody knows, and it's like, okay, yeah, what are we doing here? Nobody knows.
Well, okay, that's my point. Like he doesn't know what changed in terms of the data collection, right? That's what I'm saying.
I don't think so,
because the article I read wasn't really clear on that either, and why. Now, the one interesting angle that Dave has taken the last few weeks, I think people are missing the boat on, is AEW has experienced a jump in the 50 plus viewers. They've experienced a jump in Canada. In the Canada total viewership. They've experienced a jump in the UK and the UK total viewership, but they haven't experienced a jump in 18 to 49 in the United States, which is bizarre. How are all of these other metrics up and 18 to 49 is just staying stagnant? So naturally you would assume, all right, well, maybe that's because 18 to 49 are converting over to Max.
Right, they're watching on Max.
And the viewership is up in that demographic as well. It's just not being reflected in the ratings, right? And I'm not sure if people understand that that's kind of that's the point that he's getting at when he constantly goes on Twitter and says, oh, 50 plus was way up again. And the thing is, Dave doesn't explain himself very well on Twitter. He leaves it open to interpretation. And of course, on Twitter, that's always going to go badly, because I think he saves his in the weeds explanations for his newsletter, which is what people are paying for. I understand that. But I don't want to get into criticizing the way Dave tweets, but he should probably just not tweet anything like that. Just don't put that stuff out, because it gives people angles to attack him. People that are too dumb to understand what he's even saying then attack him and say that he's making excuses for it's just a mess. But that's really the gist of what he's been getting to. But now with this new with the new numbers that this collection is spitting out, all of that might go out the window too. It's just a total mess. And it's hard. I can't analyze something if I don't understand how it's being collected. And for years, we would come on here and say, Nielsen is definitely not perfect. It's very imperfect, but we understand how it's collected. Everything is judged by the same standards. And if this is what advertisers are using, we have to pay attention and analyze it. And that's what we would do. I don't know what to do with these numbers. I can't do anything with these numbers. So
we also used to know how the Nielsen, I mean, and again, imperfect science, but we used to know how it was done. Is you would get,
right.
We knew what Nielsen households looked like. We knew what the process was like. Even I wasn't a Nielsen household, and I don't think you were either. But we knew how the process. We knew people that were Nielsen households, or everybody just knew the process and knew what it was.
So it worked the same for years.
Right.
Where if you did get a Nielsen box, you were representing a fucking married couple in their 30s with a 1-year-old child, and you were representing X amount of those households that were just like you, 30,000 or whatever the number is. And then it would be extrapolated. Like we understood that that's how the process worked in a quick nutshell, right? we don't understand how they're collecting the data and how they're coming up with this anymore, especially with the wild fluctuations in viewers per household and all those things. So it's just a total mess. And it's very strange that it was negatively affecting wrestling more than anything else across all companies, which means there had to be some reason for that. And we never really were able to put our finger on it. And now it changed again. So who the fuck knows?
Right.
So who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I was almost getting used to this new, big data plus money, and then it's just like, forget it. Now I don't fucking care. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange. So I was hoping you could add some clarity, and I guess you gave me clarity in the sense that
no one knows,
right? That I shouldn't feel bad that I'm completely confused and now completely detached from the whole idea of it. So
the reality is, it doesn't necessarily even matter how accurate the Nielsen estimates are, provided they're consistent and we have the same scale. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what difference does it make whether there's really 200,000 people watching Impact, 150,000 people, or 250,000 people? As long as the estimate is collected the same way and is consistent every week and has the same scale versus everything else on TV, that's really all that matters. The problem now is we don't have consistency and we don't have the same scale, which makes all of it worthless. So that's the issue for me, and why I never talk about ratings when I do my reviews anymore.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I going to talk about? I'm going to give you some contextless number that doesn't mean anything?
Right. That might change in 2 weeks.
Right.
The way that it was collected might be completely different in 2 weeks than what it was today. So it's completely worth it. Yeah, you can't compare week over week, month over month, year over year. And when you can't do that, it's pretty much impossible. At this point. So, okay, there you go. That's the update on the ratings and making sense of what's been going on. So if you've been seeing some wonky ratings lately, and that's probably why there was a big change. Nobody knows what the change was, how the change happened, but there's some big change, and there you go. So, all right, let's talk about the well, no, actually, real quickly, I want to cover this, not necessarily a preview, but something coming up this weekend that I am interested in, and it is the Indies, and it is GCW adjacent, Joe. It is the Jersey J Cup. So this is technically run by JCW, not GCW, but they're in conjunction with GCW. But the Jersey J Cup happening this weekend, it looks like a hell of a lineup. And I'm going to watch it. I'll either do a Flagship Plus if we don't have time. Maybe we can do it Tuesday on the Flagship if we do a Flagship this Tuesday. But I like this lineup, and it featured, I'm using the past tense there because it featured a really cool match that we've been clamoring for years, but something happened. So we'll get to that in a sec. But the Jersey J Cup first round, there's a 6-man match in the first round, which is already off to a bad start, but trust me, it gets a little bit better. Travis Williams, Griffin McCoy, Joe Lando, Vengador, Manny Lowe, and question mark is one of the first round matchups. But then it gets much better because then one of the other first round matchups is Jonathan Gresham versus Adam Priest, which sounds pretty fucking awesome. Eric Stevens back again, maybe third or fourth retirement. He's back this time versus Charles Mason. Jordan Oliver versus Alec Price. So a blow up of the AEW tag team. Oro versus Man Like DeReese, who I like. I like Man Like DeReese. Judas Icarus, who I'm a big fan of as well, versus Darian Bankston. KJ Orso versus Teriyaki, my man Teriyaki. Had a long discussion with Teriyaki during WrestleMania weekend last year. So he doesn't remember the conversation, but I do. And then Billy Starks versus Ryan Clancy. That's your first round matchups in the Jersey J Cup. That's a pretty good lineup of wrestlers right there. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where's the Illinois J Cup? Bitch.
You're right.
Yeah. You know, Jersey, we do things. Hey, listen, it's I can't help that Jersey is just so fucking cool. And
I'm checking if 01 USA ever ran a Illinois, maybe. One moment,
probably
sir.
did.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
1 sec, sir.
I believe Matt Cage won that one.
He probably did, but all right, they didn't. So okay, carry on.
All right. Yeah. So New Jersey did totally own you then.
We did. Yeah, I am owned. I am owned by the Jersey J Cup. Does this happen at that White Eagle Hall? That was a good venue for Mania weekend. Hopefully it is.
What's the venue here? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Let's see here.
I mean, they usually run South Jersey, JCW. But,
yeah. White Eagle Hall, Jersey City, baby.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's where I saw Terry Hart. My mind's still stuck in teriyaki land. Teddy Hart smoked the largest blunt I've ever seen in my entire life, like a comically large blunt, right behind me, and then got in the ring immediately after that. And then got out of the ring and did not go to the back, rolled out of the ring, went right back to the giant blunt in his merch table without ever stepping foot in the locker room. He went from the table, the merch table with the blunt next to it, to the ring, right back to the merch table and the blunt without ever. They just called his name and he went, okay, my time is up, so let me get up there. And he went in and he did his match and then he went right back to the table. So appreciated that.
Yeah, that sounds like Teddy Hart.
Just never interacted with anybody. I forget who he even faced. I'm sure he was just like, we'll call the ring.
Did you see he has a new cat?
I did see there's a new cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's this one's name?
I don't know.
It's not Mr. Money, right?
No. I'm sure that cat went to wrestling school like Mr. Money did.
Yeah.
He trained professional.
Poor Mr. Money. Well, Mr. Money, I mean, that Mr. Money had to have been pretty old by this point.
That cat's got to be dead. I mean, that was 2013, 14 or whatever. So I'm sure it was a couple years old.
All right, let's see here. Teddy Hart is returned. Let's see. He's got a new I got to click this. God, yeah. Okay. If my computer crashes, it's due to WrestlingNewsSource.com, okay? Just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. We're good. This is an old school website. Looks like it's from. All right. He cut a not safe for work or this podcast promo that I will not be repeating.
Say the words, Rich.
No, I will not.
Well, I could say them right. It's like the double jeopardy laws. No.
Nah. Okay, here you go.
You can't be charged for the same crimes twice.
Anyway, so Ghost of Quiones was there. Great, all-time great Twitter follower, Ghost of Quiones. So far, this show has attempted a Packy chant, thankfully contained to one fan. A possibly legitimate drunk heel manager cutting a promo describing the crowd as Dykes and F -- I'll tell you there. And Teddy Hart. Okay, so this wasn't necessarily Teddy Hart calling these people these words.
These are the fans saying these things?
Yeah, so that's okay.
Rowdy crowd.
Okay, so Teddy just claimed he holds the world record for most moonsaults and shooting star presses. Then put over his trainee for paying him in Bitcoin and learning how to do a backflip in 7 minutes.
Okay.
And he's wearing an Oilers jersey in Calgary. And I don't know. I think he's got a new cat, but I don't know if there's
this show was in Alberta?
Yeah.
That explains the crowd.
Yeah. Patience. The cat's name is Patience.
Okay. Big Guns N' Roses fan, Teddy Hart? Or
I guess. Really, what a side slight to Alberta there. My God.
I just, I hear things about the Western Territories.
Yeah, I was at the hotel we stayed at in Calgary. We roll up. We're in the lobby checking in. And I'm like, there's a rough crowd here. What's going on? So, the person checking us in could tell that I'm kind of like, there's a lot of interesting looking people here. What's going on? And she goes, yeah, there's a Hell's Angels meeting at our hotel, and they're all staying here. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't. They were fine to me. I mean, I just got, hey, how's it going? They weren't bothering me any, but it was just weird. Yeah, I was like, there were a lot of them. It was like Sturgis. It was like Road Wild in there, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Yeah.
They didn't think you were a dyke or an F -- Exactly. So, you were all right.
So I was fine. Yeah, I'm a middle-aged white male, so I fit the demo pretty well. So they were fine with me.
Yeah.
And then I went outside and I was looking at their bikes, and I was like, oh, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, like the ride? And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fine. Because what am I going to say? For God's sakes, you're not going to tell the Hells Angels, a little gaudy. Little gaudy. I don't know.
You're like, I don't know. I was never into Harleys. I'm into Hondas.
Right. I'm more of a Yamaha guy, but it's fine. Yeah. The Suzuki's, I'm more of the, Japanese crotch rockets is more my deal, but it's okay. It's an okay bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they all got arrested. We watched them all get arrested. So.
Oh, some of them got arrested?
Yeah. There was a sting operation going on.
What were they?
I don't know.
Were they selling blow?
I don't know. Yeah, I think there was something going on. So
probably selling some 8 balls out of room 123.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on, but One day we looked out of our window and there's a bunch of cops out there, and we're like, it can't be good. And then about 20 minutes later, a bunch of them got carried out. So we're like, all right. I'm going to go to Bret Hart's bar now, if you guys don't mind. So let's go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Calgary was quite. I liked Calgary a lot. Other than that, but,
nice views.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, great views. Glacier National or Banff National Park, very nice. Jasper, very nice. Would recommend it for sure.
What does Ray Lloyd have to do with this?
That's an AEW producer, sir. But all right. Let's get back to the Jersey J Cup here. Let's get serious. Steel cage match. One called Manders versus Mad Dog Conley. That sounds good. And then finally, in a special attraction match, the Dynamite Kid versus Black Tiger. It was supposed to be Tiger Mask versus Dynamite Kid. They booked it. And according to them, a family emergency has come up, and Tiger Mask will not be there.
Pretty creative to stick someone under a Black Tiger mask.
I do appreciate that.
What are they doing here?
I assume that's Rocky.
You think so? Why would you even have to do that? You could just...
That's true.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, though, because with the New Japan connection and maybe... You're right. Hopefully it's right. If it's Rocky Romero, that's really cool.
Yeah, I hope it's Rock.
Hopefully it's an authentic Black Tiger, and it's not like, all right, Alec Price, your match is over. Go,
Teriyaki, get out there, Teriyaki. You're Black Tiger tonight, pal. Yeah.
Right.
All right, man, like DeReese, you're Black Tiger. And he's like, I don't think that's going to look... I think they're going to know it's me. No, you're fine, yeah.
Because that really was a cool match they put together, and it's like it's just not the same if Billington just wrestles some other indie guy. So I wouldn't even have thought of substituting Black Tiger, but that's very creative.
It is. So I'll give them a little bit of credit there. But unfortunately, the Tiger Mask Dynamite Kid match, it might never happen now. It might never. Tony doesn't want to do it. These guys were about to do it. Our issue was, and we talked about this, I don't know if you're going to get Tiger Mask on that plane. And I don't know. It said a family emergency. I don't know. So I don't know if he decided he didn't want to get on that plane or there's legitimately an emergency, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, it clock's ticking.
I think Kyushu Pro's got to book it. Like someone in Japan has to book it.
Yeah.
Charlton, if you're listening, talk to the press. Talk to Press Tanahashi and make it happen, all right?
Yeah, come on, man. You got some power over there.
Because we're running out of time, man. I think he's done in May. Right? May or June.
Something like that, yeah.
We're running out of time.
I think May.
Damn it.
Well, don't blame me. I mean...
No, we've tried. Yeah.
You don't know how many unanswered DMs I sent.
I've sent a couple, too.
Asking for that. So,
I got a couple read. I don't know. Did you get reds or no?
Well, they get read eventually when I send something else 2 months later, and but never a reply. Not even like a cheap emoji reply. Not like the thumbs up on the message. Not even anything like that.
Yeah.
Nothing. Just your idea sucks. No, I don't want to do that. Basically.
I don't get it. No.
I don't know what there isn't not to get. I mean,
yeah, it seems perfect. So.
I mean, it should have been on the Forbidden Door pre-show. Is what it should have been.
We always said the best booking for that would have been the Forbidden Door pre-show. It's Tiger Mask versus Tommy Billington, Dynamite Kid. Yeah, but
that's what it should have been.
Yeah, never happened.
Did he ever book Tiger Mask?
No.
Maybe he hates him like Toriano.
Maybe. Well, yeah, I get it.
I don't.
He's the worst Tiger Mask, and you're like, I agree.
He never brought him in even for like a Forbidden Door pre-show or anything like that.
I don't think so.
Let's make sure.
I think we looked this up once, but I'll double check.
Did we? Oh, I always click the Ricky Fuji Tiger Mask, and that's
because you go by the worst one. You're like, well, the worst one's clearly,
yeah.
But no, it's not. It's Ricky Fuji's because this Tiger Mask has a better rating than you would think he does.
Yeah.
It's like 6.7 or whatever, and you're like, I don't know, maybe, but yeah, we looked it up.
AEW.
Nah, he doesn't go to America that often.
No,
he goes to Mexico, and he did a couple of New Japan Strong shows, but that's about it.
Yeah,
that's about it for him. So it sucks.
TNA for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. He did Super Astros. Super Astros. He went to Moline, Illinois. Mark of the Quad against Papi Chulo. I mean, come on, man. You can come to America for one show. You face Papi Chulo at fucking Super Astros, you can make it out to there. Night 2, Jersey J Cup, which, again, I'm going to try to definitely watch both these shows. We'll try to get it reviewed at some point. Joey Janela and Dynamite Kid. So Janela gets it. Janela understands it. Versus
Janela
Gabe.
gets it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He absolutely gets it. Yeah. Gabe Kidd and Mad Dog Conley. He'll try to make this match happen before Tiger Mask retires for sure. So Gabe Kidd, Mad Dog Conley versus Joey Janela and Dynamite Kid. A Jersey Lotto match. Matt Tremont, Nick Camaroto, and then question mark. I don't know what a Jersey Lotto match is. And then, of course, the conclusion of the tournament, too, the Jersey J Cup. But that seems like a pretty good indie show.
Lotto.
Yeah, I don't know what the Jersey Lotto. Did you ever play the Jersey Lotto? Is there something defining feature about the lottery in New Jersey different than any other lottery?
I think it's standard state lottery,
Okay.
as far as I know. Shout out Hella Young. Not many people are going to understand that one, but if you do, you get it. I don't know. That'd be great if they booked Hella Young. Hella Young was the lady who would pull the balls out of the machine for years when they would do the lotto drawings on TV.
People don't remember.
Like
There's a whole
7:58
generation that did not grow up during your parents are like, wait, it's 8:43. Turn on the news as a woman or a weird newscaster would stick their hand. We had they'd hit the button and go voom, 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 the balls, the little lotto balls would go, and then they'd look at him and go 8, 11. You're like, oh. We haven't none of those, but there's still 3 more numbers. So.
The New Jersey machines looked like R2D2. And
interesting.
The ball would come up. The ball they'd all be blowing, the air would be blowing them. And then the ball would come up the chute, like you're saying, like the vacuum. And then Hella Young would turn it and show the camera and say 3, and then go to the next one, So you have pick 3, pick 4. And then on, I think, Tuesdays and Fridays was pick 6. That's where you won the big jackpot.
Oh, yeah.
You had to pick 6 numbers. Yeah. So that pick 6 was the one that everybody played. You play the picket, which was 3 numbers, but you win like $40 or something. Who cares? So my family they'd all play the pick 6 and gather around the TV at 7:58 is when it would be. And you have to put on and watch Hella Young draw the numbers. So I don't know. Is she going to be there to draw the mystery
Actually,
opponent?
It looks like she will not be there. It looks like if I have the right woman, it appears she passed away.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she's dead. But she was a New Jersey icon, because that was the lotto lady. And if you missed that, you wouldn't know what the lotto numbers were. There's no fucking internet to check.
This is great. That's a working name, Hella Young.
Oh, was it?
Her real name was Hella Youngst Hockman. Too Jewish.
She shortened it up.
How about Young? It's like, that won't be very good. We don't want to. How about you go by Young instead? So.
Shortened it up.
Yeah. Oh God, that's a great thing of yesteryear is that your name is too ethnic. You must change it to something else. It's
no matter what ethnicity, it had to be
too
changed.
ethnic. So make it Johnson or Young or Smith. Yeah. Too Jewish, too Polish, too Mexican. Just come on, Johnson, Young, Smith.
Right.
Every newscaster,
nice
it's like
safe.
Zimmerman,
Young.
huh? I don't know about that. Nobody wants to get their news from a Zimmerman. So how about you be Tim Smith instead?
You're Jones now.
Yeah.
You're Jones. Yeah.
That's you got a lot of Z's in that name. Let's not go. Let's go with
Z's.
something else instead.
I know we're in Chicago, but still, it's too Polish. We have to change it to something.
We gotta read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that newscasters. There's no way newscasters have working names anymore, right? They gotta all be authentic.
They're probably all using their real names.
Yeah. Hella Youngst Hockman. She passed away in 2002.
I never thought she would come up on the flagship.
Hella Young.
Hella Young, but she's burned into my fucking brain from my childhood.
Was she a babe or what? Or just kind of like a newscaster?
She was for the 80s. She was a babe.
Yeah, okay.
For the 80s, she was a babe. No doubt about
Had
it.
an 80s look about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big hair.
Yeah. Brunette.
Yeah, big hair brunette. Oh, some blouses with some buttons pretty low down there, I'll tell you. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of buttons unbuttoned in that blouse, ma'am.
I think her daughter might have done it for a while, too, after she gave it up. What do we do? We're doing New Jersey lottery talk
I
here?
love it. Why not? Hey, it's the Flagship, brother. Let's go. This is what you get here. What else? Who else is doing that, right?
Where do you get lotto results now? Just online, I guess?
Dude, you know what you get? The worst thing ever is these.
lotto.
No, what happens now I can tell you don't go to enough gas stations these days, or at least I don't know what Texas's lotto system's like. Now you get the guys who get them and then just immediately scan them. Like they don't, or they'll like. I guess there's still the call numbers
Those
or whatever.
Rub-offs. Those are the rub-offs.
Yeah. Do you call them rub-offs?
What do you call them?
Scratch-offs.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always called them rub-offs.
Rub-offs. Okay, that seems more sexual to me than scratch-off. But anyway,
You rub me off.
I don't know. Yeah, right. It seems a little weird, but it's more of a scratch mechanism than a rub. But I guess you're rubbing it as well.
You take a quarter and you fucking
scratch it. You don't rub it. You scratch it.
I'm not even arguing. You call it whatever you want, sir. You're getting mighty aggressive over this.
Well, Jersey versus Illinois. This is our new thing that we do. So, no, you still get the numbers. And then, what happens is like, probably online or whatever. Maybe you still watch the news. Maybe because for those big, like, Mega Millions or whatever. See, I don't do those. Everybody at my work always does it. And they're always like, oh, you're going to be sorry. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're not going to win. But sure.
Yeah.
I'm fine being the only person that still comes to work when you guys are all fighting over the, $80 million you won or whatever. Not going to happen. But anyway, and it's still, by the way, has still never happened, but I'm that guy. So they're like, oh, come on, we're going to win $100 billion and you're going to be stuck here. And I'm like, yeah, fine. I'll be fine. But no, those, I think they might still announce those on the news. But the other problem too, like the scratch offs and the other ones is these guys will just like get them and then just immediately scan them.
Right. They don't bother scratching.
And I'm like, come on, the fun of the art, it's kind of the, a little bit of the foreplay.
Gimmick is to scratch them.
Yeah. Just have a little fun with it. What are you doing? You're just buying a piece of paper and scanning it. That's nothing. It's so cold and callous.
Well, those people are addicted.
Yeah. And they'll get a lot too. And you get behind one of those guys and you're like, dude, can you just let me go? I'm just trying to get a bottle of water and a fucking Slim Jim. And it's like, I'll take the crazy cherries and I'll take bodacious box, and you're like, oh my god, you're like, fuck, god damn it, it's like, let's go. Yeah. What's that one over there? The guy behind the counter is like, which one? And he's got to point to 7 of them. I'm like, oh god,
the whole plastic thing with the rolls
right.
of the tickets.
This one, no. This one, no. That one, I'm like, oh god, just come on. They're all the same, man. Just pick them, whatever. You're not gonna win anything. God.
Do you still get them in your birthday cards from your aunts and uncles?
My dad used to do that gimmick every Christmas, and then unfortunately he's passed on, so I don't get him anymore.
Yeah, all of the relatives who would send them, all of mine are passed away too. So it's like I used to get lottery tickets, New Jersey lottery tickets in Texas.
Yeah. Well, see, my dad was a horrible gift giver, as in he wouldn't give gifts or like he forgot.
Yeah.
So he definitely was just like, fuck, Christmas is tomorrow. So when he'd go get his smokes, he would buy a lotto ticket. But then it became a thing. And then I think he thought about it. Like the first couple years was like, fuck, what do I get him? And he just threw it in. But then it became a thing. You know what I mean? Then I knew he did it on purpose. But the first 4 or 5 times was like, I'm going to get smokes anyway. I might as well get a kid a lottery ticket or whatever. Because I was like 8 and he was like, here you go, kid,
Yeah.
And he'd throw it over to me. But then I think later in life, he would still kind of do it as a gimmick, and it was fun. But never. One year I won like $400. So that was kind of nice, but other than that, nothing.
The scratch offs are one thing, but I don't like for regular lotto. Do they still do regular lotto drawings?
They do.
Like,
they do. They do. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know if you watch.
So where do you get the results? Just on the internet?
Probably just on the internet.
I don't think they do it on TV anymore, right?
They might. I don't think it's the same.
I don't think that's something they do on TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they might like flash it across the screen. They might have like newscaster guy be like, all right.
On the news or something.
Yeah. But they would like, for people that weren't alive, like there would be like the news would stop and they would go, all right, we're going to go to blank.
Right.
And there'd be a room.
Hella Young.
Yeah, Hella Young. We're going to go to Hella Young in a room. And then there'd be a big ball, or big like basin of balls. And then she'd go, all right, we're picking for the Mega Millions. And they'd be like, voomp, 3, voomp, 4. It was like, it was cool. It was a great little gimmick, good little gimmick. And you'd watch, like everybody would watch and grab their tickets. And
yeah.
Probably a huge, huge draw in the news every time.
Yeah, and then like my aunt or my grandma would call the house to complain to me. I missed by 1 number. Right. I missed by 1 number on that pick 4. I had it all the way to the end. Missed by 1 number.
So would every news station have their own?
$786. Can you believe it?
I'm trying to remember if they all had their own draw. No, it would go
to the one main feed of the New Jersey Lottery.
Okay, I'm trying to remember if Chicago
did that.
It
would be they would all. They would have to, because the lottery commission runs that
Correct.
shit. So you have to be drawn from the same place.
Right.
So they would all, and it was only certain, it wasn't every channel either. You'd have to go to like, I don't remember which channel it was in New Jersey, but it was only certain channels showed the lotto drawing. So you'd all have to, and again, if you missed it, you're like fucked. Like you wouldn't know what the numbers were.
I think the paper the next day would have it. But yeah, you didn't know. You'd have to go to bed saying, I don't know. I might have $1 billion.
I might have hit the pick six. I might have hit it, but I'm not going to know. And if I get an early edition of the paper, I'm still not going to know.
Right. I might have to go to work and still not know. And people are going to say, hey, did you hit on the Mega Millions? And you could say, I don't know.
I don't know.
I may not have, or I may have.
And you can't trust what other people are saying the number was. No, I need to see the official number.
Right.
There's probably some phone number you could call, but I wasn't aware. I mean, maybe some 800 number or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying. Eric Kroll's in the chat. He might remember who was the Chicago lotto guy growing up, because I don't remember. I just remember like a nondiscreet woman or a nondiscreet it wasn't a memorable one, like a Hella Young apparently, but I just remember a dude, just a random dude, I think, but
yeah,
whatever. So
well, Hella Young would be like a San Francisco-based rapper now. Hella Young.
Well, that's Shining Wizard said Hella Young sounds like a SoundCloud rapper to me.
Sounds like a rapper.
Yeah, Hella Young. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Hella Young. Yeah.
Oh, Eric Kroll is here. Mary D was her name. Mary D was the Chicago. I got to look up Mary D here. Chicago. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember Mary D.
Now you know her?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I recognize Mary D now.
All right. I'm going to X on out of here.
Yeah, okay. Joe's going to reconnect here in a sec. He got some some internet issues. So we'll get him back, and we'll get on with the rest of the show here when he comes back. But, yeah, there you go. So classic Flagship talk right there. We talk about the Jersey J Cup leads somehow, some way to a discussion about lottery tickets. So Mary D was kidnapped. Okay. All right, Joe, you are back. I believe. Hopefully you are better internet-wise. Apparently she was kidnapped, but I don't know if she's dead or not. Let's see. What's going on with Mary D here? Personal life. Okay, she just died, but I think she also got kidnapped too. So, oh, here you go. You ready for this? D and amateur psychic Alan Sandler, a guest on her show, were kidnapped and shot.
What?
She was the host of the Mary D Show, a talk show on Chicago WSNS, and they were kidnapped. And Alan Sandler died, and D survived. A man walked up to their car while they were in the parking lot in the TV studio and shot them. Huh.
Wow.
Well, that's quite the thing then, to be the lotto person. It's like, hey, I'm lucky. I survived a shooting. So here you go. Let's see if you're lucky tonight on the lotto. So good for Mary D. She lived to be 85 years old after getting shot in 1971. So good for her. Good for Mary D.
It's a lot of lotto lore.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, who knew? Also, let me see if Mary D, this is her shoot name. No, see? Mary Francine Dorham was her name.
Can't have that on TV.
And they said, how about Mary D? And she went, okay, that'll work.
Yep. I don't even know where they got the D from.
Just Dorham, I guess. So the D is, so this is good too. Her first name was Mary, M-A-R-Y, but they said, let's go with M-E-R-R-I.
Oh, so gimmicky.
And then instead of Dorham, we're going to go with D-D-E-E. This is like old school news, man. This is what I love about old school really TV, man. It's the greatest. Mary Francine Dorham, and it's like, nope. Nope. Mary D it is. Mary, M-A-R-Y, nope. M-E-R-R-I. Okay, well. Shining Wizard said, Chicago not beating the allegations. Yeah, I'll admit. That does not look reflect how should the city of Chicago, I will admit. It does sound a little rough. All right. So that's the Jersey J Cup. New beginning in Osaka. You want to talk about new beginning in Osaka here a little bit? We previewed it a bit on last week's. I was the Tuesday flagship, not last week's flagship. This week's flagship. We did 2 flagships this week, for God's sakes. FlagshipPatreon.com. We talked about it a little bit, but this will be a show that we're going to review next Thursday because it's happening on Wednesday. And that's the new beginning in Osaka 2026. The main event: Yota Tsuji versus Jake Lee. We should point out, I believe they have announced this is a sold out, no tickets available at the door event. So another good number.
That's great
for New Japan Pro Wrestling. They did that for Tokyo Dome too. Remember, they said, don't even come to the building. We don't have any tickets left. If you don't have a ticket, don't come. And they're saying the same thing for Osaka too. Because this is big Bodymaker, right? Bodymaker 1?
Yeah.
Edion Arena or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a big number. Jake Lee, I gotta respect his business moving, I suppose. I don't know if I have to hand it all the way to Jake Lee. Just yet. What have you thought so far of Jake? I guess we didn't talk about that on Tuesday. What is your take on New Japan Jake Lee so far?
Yeah, it's still decidedly not for me. But I think that it's starting to get over with their audience to some degree. And obviously they've bought tickets to see this match. And I do think that there's a chance he wins the title in this match. And I think that at some point he absolutely will win this title. I don't know if it'll be in Osaka, but at some point he will be the IWGP champion. And I do think there's a chance that he wins it right now against Yota Tsuji. This would fit Gato's booking patterns sometimes of when he establishes somebody at a world title level. He will take the belt immediately off of them. He's done this before, right? Because it's like, okay, I'm telling you that Yota Tsuji is world title caliber, but there's a story I want to tell with him now. So he'll take the belt off of him. He's done that with other people in the past. So there's a non-zero chance that Jake Lee wins the title here. And then the story for the rest of the year is Yota Tsuji chasing Jake Lee.
Right. And then Wrestle Kingdom next year, he can win it back or something like that. Or he can win the G1 or whatever.
Wherever, yeah, something. So that's not impossible. I wouldn't put it even at 50-50. I'd say it's about 70-30 that Yota Tsuji wins. But I think that it's very clear to me that with the trajectory that the United Empire is on, being pushed as the strongest pushed unit in the company, the big push coming for Callum Newman, the big push we see coming for Jake Lee, that these are going to be your new top guys. Okay, Jake Lee's going to win this title at some point. Every other promotion in Japan believed in him enough to put their top title on him. And here we are again with New Japan with a completely open runway for main eventers. That's the other thing. This is not a company chock full of main eventers. Okay. And there's more people leaving. So I think at some point Lee will be the champ. And I guess we'll find out if it will be as soon as next week.
I think it should be noted too for Yota Tsuji. I mean, this probably reflects, we're looking at Jake Lee, but Yota Tsuji might be a lot of, just investment in him as the champion and investment in him as the top guy in New Japan. It does seem like the crowd has been, very, he seems to be working for this crowd right now. And like you said, they may have just finally made a guy. We'll see. And I think you're right in the sense that we could be coming back here next Thursday talking about Yota Tsuji losing the title, and some people might see that as, it's burying him or whatever. And that's, if you follow Gato's booking and you follow New Japan booking, it's the first title win is more about, and this is how Gato's done it for a while, it's more about establishing that guy, as now that guy is a credible
with Okada,
guy.
He did it with Naito.
Yeah.
He did it with both of those guys. If you do it with Okada and Naito, you can do it with Yota Tsuji.
Absolutely. Right.
So.
And both those guys became much, much bigger stars. Now, does Gato have his fastball to quite in the same way that he did when those guys were doing this? Not necessarily, but I don't think it reflects poorly on Yota Tsuji if we come here next Thursday and talk about Jake Lee beating Yota Tsuji. Now, will I be happy with that? Probably not. I'd probably prefer that Jake Lee not be the champion, but it would not stun me if Jake Lee is the champion coming out. Now, I think I'd be betting. If I was a betting man, I'd go Yota Tsuji to win it. But
I think Tsuji's a solid favorite.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
But not impossible. But it's certainly not impossible that Jake Lee does do that. But yeah, and as far as Jake Lee in New Japan, it's not for me. He's doing like the I'm so goofy and like I make weird faces all the time stuff, and I'm too cool for school, and I make weird.
It's like disconnected.
Yeah, I don't. I want you know what? I want connected wrestlers. I want wrestlers that when the bell rings, they want to rip apart their opponent. I want Kato and Murashima. Were those guys connected? They were fucking connected. I want connected wrestlers. I don't need because he's doing this. He's kind of like I'm Naito, but I'm also more goofy thing. It's like he's brooding, but then he also makes weird faces. It's like he's a
weirdo. He's supposed to be a weirdo.
I don't need weirdos. I want badasses. I want ass kickers.
Yeah.
So enough of that stuff for me. But anyway, we'll see. That's the main event. Tag team titles. Now, this is an interesting one, too. The Knockout Brothers, Oscar and Yuta Ice versus Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura. Is this finally the time where you want to move these titles over to Uemura and Umino, or do you want the Knockout Brothers to just continue to dominate this division?
Well, they've been very dominant, and they're booked very strong. I mean, you can't book a team stronger than they've been booked. But, you got to do something with Umino and Uemura. I just feel like the Drilla Maloney Shingo versus Great Okan and Hanari match is going to set up the challengers for whoever win this.
Yeah,
I think that's the whole point of that match. So, I don't know. I think that the way the Knockout Brothers have been booked, it's hard to see them losing here. But again, it's not impossible. I mean, you have to get behind these guys and put in the tag title. I feel like, don't you feel like they've established Yuto Ice at this point? Oscar doesn't really matter, but don't you feel like they've established Yuto Ice enough at this point to where maybe they could lose here, and maybe, you start getting behind Umino and Uemura as a team and use that to kind of propel them? I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea.
A little bit, yeah, because they beat Taichi and Ishii to win the titles. They beat Umino and Uemura already the first time, and then they beat TMDK Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr. So this would be the second time they'd beat this team, and there'd be their third successful title defense, and that's a lot. And that's I think it's probably, if you wanted to, I'm okay either way. Honestly, I have no real strong thoughts. If you want to have the Knockout Brothers retain the titles and beat Umino and Uemura again, I would think it might be a good time, though, to switch those titles to Umino and Uemura, and then have the Knockout Brothers, fight to get them back or whatever, and let Umino and Uemura have a little bit of a run with the titles, too. I don't think it's the worst thing to do, but I don't know. I think if you want to just continue to, and I have no qualms about what they've done so far with the Knockout Brothers. It's just saying these guys are here, and they're the best tag team in the world right now, and they're the best tag team in this company, and they're just going to beat everybody. I'm fine with that, too. But, and maybe you have them be that until Yuto Ice is ready to break away. Whenever that might be, but that might be a while still till we're ready to do that. But yeah, I don't know. I could go either way with that. I don't really care. I do care about this one though. Never open weight title. Aaron Wolf defending against Ren Narita. He's just got to beat Ren Narita. He just has to. He just has to. I will not accept any argument that Ren Narita should take the title from Aaron Wolf, that we should get some heat, that the House of Torture should get some heat on Aaron Wolf by winning the Never Openweight title. We're not ready for that yet with Aaron Wolf. He's still got to especially this geek, Ren Narita. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, they could use this to establish Ren Narita as the new leader of this group or something, and it would be a big mistake to me. And this sellout could have as much to do with Aaron Wolf as it does the main event. Don't forget that either.
Yeah, of course.
So, I don't think it would be wise to start beating him yet and just treating him like somebody else on the roster. But if Ren Narita is going to be a stand-in for Evil, with Evil being gone, then, maybe he takes over whatever plans they had for this, what's obviously going to be a year-long program with Aaron Wolf and the House of Torture. So I don't know. I wish I could say that Aaron Wolf was 100%. But I don't see it as 100% outcome. Oh,
how could you? No, you can't. No, you can't. Yeah. Not with New Japan, not with Gato, not with House of Torture. You just can't. Because you could see that it 9 guys run in and some guy turns and becomes the new member of House of Torture or whatever. Just screw over Aaron Wolf. Like, Toru Yano turns on Aaron Wolf and becomes the new member of House of Torture. I mean, who fucking knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's I see it very much like the main event, where it's probably 70-30 in my eyes, but I think it would be a huge mistake to beat Aaron Wolf right now. In fact, Aaron Wolf needs to have another big performance because he's kind of just existed since Wrestle Kingdom. He hasn't really stood out, and that has to be concerning. So in big matches like this with a lot of eyeballs on him, he needs to look impressive, and he needs to. It's a lot of pressure to put on someone who's had less than 20 matches, but he has to look better and better every time out too when he's in these matches, because They don't have the depth for it to really just take their time with him and hope he comes along. It can't take 5 years. He has to be like ready in a year to be a top guy. He has to be with the state that they're in.
This one is pretty well established, and I think you and I agree on this one. David Finlay and Callum Newman. This feels like a very easy send-off for David Finlay. Put the young guy over on your way out. Callum Newman gets the big win, which he absolutely needs to get. I mean, even if Finlay isn't leaving, Callum Newman needs to win this match. But knowing the uncertainty of David Finlay's contract status, and if I'm New Japan, I'm fine telling Finlay to hit the bricks and go. Not that I think Finlay's bad or anything. You've told every story you need to tell with David Finlay too. You're never going to push him beyond where you've pushed him. And I think him leaving opens up a spot for a new guy. And yeah, I think it's a clean, if this is the time that his contract's up and he wants to explore new options and you're ready to kind of move on to new things. And if you're New Japan, I would do that. This is a great time to just tell David Finlay, okay, well, thank you for all your work, but we're ready to go in a different direction and you can go test the market all you want as well. And Callum Newman, again, regardless of whatever Finlay's status is, Callum Newman should beat David Finlay and should beat him pretty definitively here.
Finlay can go. It's time. I'm not going to miss him at all. I mean, in fact, I'd prefer if he would go somewhere that I don't really. I prefer he goes to WWE, if I'm being completely honest. I've had enough of David Finlay. But, yeah, Newman has to win this either way. I mean, Newman's getting a big push. And don't forget, Finlay is the person who beat Ospreay on Ospreay's way out. And Newman is intertwined with Ospreay, obviously.
It's a good point.
There's a lot going on here.
It's a good point. I didn't think of that
standpoint. So, Newman has to win, and he's someone who is clearly going to be elevated to whatever degree over the course of 2026. And it's crazy that we've reached this point, but this is out with the old, in with the new, and the old in this case is David Finlay. He's out with the old, like he's old.
Yeah.
He feels like old news.
He does.
It's time for him to move aside, and it's time to get Callum Newman in the spot. And look,
32 years old, man. Father time comes for everyone. You're 32. Get the fuck out of here, pal. But no, it's true. He's been around forever. And like I said, you've told every story you're going to tell with David Finlay. What new stories do you have for David Finlay? You don't.
Unless you're making him champion, which you're not going to do. There are none. And the thing about it is he's been there forever, but he hasn't been pushed forever.
Right.
But the thing about it is, like you're saying, he's been pushed as high as he's going to go. He had that one IWGP title shot where we thought he might win it, but he didn't. Remember? And then it's like, that's it. He's hit his ceiling. There's a limit. There's a cap on his charisma. There's a cap on his potential star power. I think they know it. And the fact is, Callum Newman has a higher ceiling than David Finlay.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be hardcore New Japan fans who hate that I'm saying that, but it's true. He has a higher ceiling. Does that mean that he'll get there? No, nothing's a lock. Nothing's a sure thing. Callum Newman is certainly not a sure thing. But does he have a higher ceiling than David Finlay? Absolutely. And Finlay just feels like old news. And Callum Newman is the kind of wrestler who they need to be pushing right now. And they need to be elevating. So the outcome seems obvious to me. So watch Finlay win this and stick around for another year. Who the fuck knows? But hopefully this is it for Finlay. And hopefully they do the right thing either way and Newman just wins this match. And I don't know if
I'm
Rich
back.
is on.
Sorry.
All right, there he is.
Dog-related thing here. We're back. All right.
I was going to keep moving, but here you are.
Okay. So Andrade versus Gabe Kidd. Now, what I'm fascinated by this match is, first off, Andrade versus Gabe Kidd sounds pretty awesome. And Andrade's been great in AEW, I got to admit. Now, it's a ticking time bomb because it is Andrade, but he has been very good. Unfortunately, he's landed on very thick, as Andrade usually does. I want to retire with AEW. It's like, okay.
Can I speak to that for a second?
Yes.
Because
yes, you may.
before people start taking their Andrade victory laps, the guy's getting a monster push. It's very easy to be well behaved.
He hasn't lost yet.
and be a team player when they're putting you over Swerve and Kenny Omega and giving you a monster push.
Right. Your gimmick is women fawn over you, touch you, and you beat everybody. I'd be happy too. Right?
His current gimmick is I never lose and I fuck hot women.
You're right.
Mean, yes,
I would also be a very happy man in that situation.
So I am not sold on that at all. I mean, the moment a decision doesn't go his way is when you will truly test Andrade El Idolo and is, his propensity to be a little finicky when it comes to certain things. So we'll see. I'm still going to wait that one out before I'm willing to take an L or let someone victory lap me. I don't think so.
Right.
This guy is way too volatile for that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of history. And as far as this goes,
and like you said, his two wins are against Swerve and Kenny Omega. So it's like, hi, pal. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to beat two of our top stars. Okay, I'm happy with that. Yeah. I bet you
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised he's not tweeting hourglasses when he's beating all the top guys in the company. What are we even doing here?
Right.
Of course he's happy. Why wouldn't he be happy?
Right.
So I don't trust the guy. How can you? So anyway, he'll wrestle Gabe Kidd here, and look, this is a really awesome match for the middle of this fucking card, right? I mean, so from that standpoint, now I don't know where the fuck they're going with this or what kind of story they're telling, but Andrade's part of United Empire, and I think people might forget that. I mean, because he hasn't been on tour since Wrestle Kingdom.
That's what's going to be fascinating to me is how they play up him being part of, because now Gabe Kidd's in canon part of AEW television, and Andrade's part of AEW television, but they're both in kind of slightly different roles here. Andrade in a completely different unit in New Japan than he is in AEW. Gabe Kidd not, I guess, sort of kind of in the same unit. Both plays. It's fascinating. I'm very fascinated how much United Empire Andrade is here, because it could be just as easy as like just saying he's in the Don Callis family, but no, he's a part of United Empire. So obviously that's going to still be a part of it. But I just find that very interesting.
Well, and they've got Jake Lee, Callum Newman, and him, who are all going to demand some level of push. So it's interesting from that standpoint. Gabe Kidd, last word, we're looking at maybe. The talk is maybe a split contract, so he'll stick around New Japan. This would be a very easy outcome if he was just going to be straight up AEW wrestler. You would beat him like you're beating Finlay, right?
Another lose or lose town thing.
But if he's going to have the split contract, and that's probably the start of a soft jump at some point. But if he's still your guy and he's going to be around, then maybe I don't know. I don't have a good feel for what they're trying to tell us with this match, so I'm just going to sit back and watch it.
So we're told in the chat, and I'll have to confirm this, that the winner is going to face Tsuji for the global title in New Jersey.
Did they announce that?
I don't know if they did or not. Let me see if I can. Not that I'm not trusting of the chat, but just in case, I'd like to.
All right. Well, then there you go.
If that's the case, then it makes then
there's the purpose for Then there you go. That still doesn't clarify to me who would win. I mean, I don't know which way they're going to go with this. Does Tony Khan want Andrade losing right now? That's another good question.
Probably not.
So probably not. Yeah. So, then that points to him winning this match. And Tony Khan loves to belt up his wrestlers with titles from other companies. So maybe he wins that global title as the end result of this and is running around Dynamite with that title.
Never open weight 6-man. Bishiman. Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Oleg Boltin versus Hartley Jackson, Rohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, who cares? Flip a coin. I mean.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It really makes no difference. You can bounce these titles back and forth. And you know what? Why not just do that? You have these exciting title changes and just have these, flip it back and forth. It doesn't make a difference anyway. So, and like we talked about on Tuesday, it's just, it's so fascinating to watch Hartley Jackson get like a genuine push in New Japan. That's so crazy. A guy that was mucking it up in 0-1 not that long ago and kind of just showed up in New Japan, cornering these guys. And now he's like getting big singles matches and corking. He's winning titles. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
he's like a legitimate roster member now.
It's a whole new roster and a whole new look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned this match a little bit earlier.
We talk about spots opening up and guys moving into spots. It trickles down all the way down the card, even to a level of like a Hartley Jackson is in a more prominent spot than he was last year that he would have been because so many people are leaving the company.
Yeah.
And every spot is now available from the literal very top of the card with the world champion all the way down to your prelim wrestlers. There's new spots available on the card.
And you mentioned this match as a possible precursor to whoever's going to face the winner of the tag team titles, face them in the future. The War Dogs of Jill Maloney and Shingo Takagi versus the United Empire duo of Great Okan and Hanari. I'm not sure if you saw the news today, but our man Jill Maloney apparently has a torn tricep, and he's just going to keep working on it.
Well, that's the Jill Maloney way. That's a hard man.
I love that.
Yeah.
A very bad injury, and he's like, "Nah, I'm fine. Fuck it. I'll work. I'm not going to not work.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?"
That's hard man shit right there. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the winner of this will come out and challenge whoever wins the title match later in the show. I think that's what that looks like to me.
I hope it's still Drilla. I hope it's just Drilla with his taped up ass. Because honestly, Drilla and Shingo sounds fucking awesome. And I love that team. And Drilla and Shingo versus Oscar and Yuta Ice sounds really up my alley. So I'd enjoy that. I'd enjoy that quite a bit. But them against Umino and Yumura might be pretty cool too. And then we have United Empire, Francesco Akira, who we talked about on Tuesday, getting a big push, and another guy that's benefiting from people leaving, and Jacob Austin Young versus the Unbound Co. of Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori. Is this it now for Hiromu? Is this his last match that he has on record? Or is he facing? Because I guess this is it, and then it's Fantastica Mania, so he's done, right?
I think he's done. He's having a singles match against that kid, the second generation kid. I don't know when they're having that match though, but either way, he's finishing up, and it looks like Francesco Akira is just going to win this feud against Hiromu and Ishimori. I mean, he's pinned them both in tags. He's probably going to win here, even teaming with Jacob Austin Young. But I feel like they're just going to keep Akira's momentum going. He's getting a huge push, so he may as well win on the biggest show tour. I mean, why not? Especially if one guy's leaving. Yeah,
no, I think Akira should just at this point, Akira should just pin Hiromu. And I know because they're going to build up to something with Akira and Taiji Ishimori down the line, so I don't think you want the Akira pinning Ishimori again here, but I think it'd be really cool to just have Akira pin Hiromu Takahashi, and that again gives a little bit more rub to Akira, and Hiromu is leaving anyway, so what use, you don't really need. He's obviously not going to pick up the win here. Maybe Taiji Ishimori pins Jacob Austin Young or whatever. But if you want to do something to have some guts here, Francesco Akira just pins Hiromu Takahashi. Just another passing of the torch moment, in terms of, we talked about with Finlay and Cal Newman. And just do that here where Akira pins Hiromu and we send Hiromu out and we put a little bit more rub on Akira. But there you go. And then the pre-show match that we're not going to see. But, maybe it'll be on New Japan World. Togi Makabe and Toru Yano versus Murashima and Kato. So. We talked about it on Tuesday that our play would be Murashima and Kato beats Togi Makabe and Toru Yano. That seems a little strong, but they're probably not going to do that. But I say why not? What is Toru Yano going to be any less important tomorrow if Murashima puts him in that fucking Boston Crab, starts squatting and taps him out? They're not going to do that. They'll never do that, but they should. They won't.
Yeah. It's like we talked about on Tuesday. They'll never, ever, ever do it, but they should. But they won't. And we know they won't. And it's not.
This case is perfect too. It's Toru Yano. Who cares, right?
I know. I agree. But intellectually, that's never happened.
I know.
They're never doing that. So,
but it could.
Yeah.
They won't.
They will not.
They will not. I know. So that's the beginning in Osaka. That's February 11th. So of course we'll be covering that, like I said, next Thursday on the Flagship. I think we got everything on our list. If there's anything else in the world of wrestling that we haven't covered this week, let us know, man. I don't know. I think we covered it all, except for Raw. We didn't cover Raw. Do you want to talk about Raw? I don't watch Raw, so I can't.
No, what the fuck would I talk about Raw for?
I don't know what happened on Raw, so I can't talk about Raw.
Yeah.
We'll preview SmackDown. Here's what's coming up on SmackDown. I don't know. I don't care either. So there you go. That's what I got. All right. I think that's it, Joe, right?
That's it. We're done.
That's it. All right. Well, hey, you know what? It's not 3 hours, but you got 2-hour and 40-minute flagships this week. So that's pretty damn good, right? I think that's pretty damn good. So again, like we said, the Tuesday flagship that had our Royal Rumble review, plus 40 minutes of fucking around, plus to talk about Ava departing WWE, plus talk about Hiromu departing New Japan Pro Wrestling, plus reviews of recent Korakuen Hall Road to New Beginning shows. That is all available at flagshippatreon.com at $10 tier. That is where that show will be exclusive, and that will be a regular thing moving forward as 2 flagships in a week, and whatever day it is. And it's not always going to be on Tuesday. It might be on a Monday. It might be on a Wednesday. It might be on a, who knows? Whatever day it is, if we do a flagship earlier in the week, that will be exclusive to the $10 tier. The live link, if you want to listen live on YouTube, that will be on flagshippatreon.com, $10 tier. And if you want the replay, the audio replay, that will also be exclusive to the $10 tier at flagshippatreon.com. So nothing is changing with the normal Thursday flagships. That's going to remain the same. We're live right now, obviously on Thursday night. $10 tier, flagshippatreon.com. And then this will pop up on your free podcast feeds, 12 hours or so later. That is not going to change. That will remain. And people were asking about like instant reaction lives. If that changes, no. We are still planning on doing instant reaction lives. We're still planning on doing Flagship Pluses. We're still planning on doing a lot of our other stuff. Now, you mentioned the Flagship Plus might take a little bit of a hit since we're doing 2 flagships a week or whatever, but I think that's an okay compromise. People have always said, I like Flagship Plus, but I like when you guys are together, that there's a different chemistry there. But I don't think that's the end of Flagship Pluses either. And hell, in about 20 minutes, you're going to have a new TV review from me. You had a Thursday Dynamite review from you earlier today. You're still going to get stuff. You're still going to get Flagship Pluses throughout the week. You're still going to get other bonus audio throughout the week. So not much has changed, except for you're getting a bonus flagship and maybe 10 minutes less on the Thursday flagship. So there you go. All right. That is it, Joe, for us. Flagshippatreon.com again for all of that. Voicesofwrestling.com/Discord if you want to join along the conversation on Discord. Oh, I do want to shout out Dave Meltzer. Had some good things to say about the Voice of Wrestling Match of the Year countdown on Wrestling Observer Radio today. He had it in the Daily Update and then talked about it a little bit on the Observer Radio too. So I'm glad he shouted that out. And we definitely saw a bump in traffic as well, people checking it out too. So appreciate him spreading the word there. More people. I wish more people did it, but hey, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We got Dave Meltzer to shout us out. That's okay. That'll work. Got the traffic on Match of the Year. So that's still available for you too at voicesofwrestling.com. But that is it for us. Oh, somebody asked, have you quit Impact yet? You have not, right?
No, there will be an Impact review tomorrow.
There it is. Now, I don't know how many more.
I announced that last week on the Impact review.
Okay. So. Wasn't it called One More Week? Wasn't the episode called One More Week?
One more week.
Yeah.
This one, the lineup for this one looks horrendous.
It does look pretty bad. God bless you. Bless your heart, Joe. Bless your heart if you go more than this. But
look, it could end at any time. But there's definitely going to be one on the feed at 9 a.m. Central tomorrow.
All right. So there you go. Oh, so you're done. You're right when you're done with this, you're right into Impact?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I do every week. Yep.
All right. Enjoy. All right. Have fun with that. So, all right. That is it for us. That is Joe. I'm Rich. We'll talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.